He is the internet's premier debate bro, the one and only good or bad faith interlocutor, depending on who you're asking. Just now hitting, for the first time in his young career, 10 million views over 28 days, the length of time YouTube decides to measure most of its analytics by, the one, the only, Irish laddie. What's up? How y'all doing? Look at me, I'm dressed up to the nines. I've got 2 shirts on. Can you imagine? Hey, what's up? Oh, did you think I was going to say Contrapoints? Contrapoints? Actually, as it turns out, not a debate bro. So disqualified from the first sort of adjective there. Is that my debate shirt now? No, this is my I'm going to have a good day shirt. Why not 2 pairs of glasses? You know, I used to do that. See, in Los Angeles, most of the major streets run east-west, because Los Angeles is very laterally stretched. And what that means is very often when you're driving to and from work, you're driving into the sun, like you're getting the sun right into your eyeballs. And I couldn't afford prescription sunglasses at the time, so I would just wear my regular glasses and then like a cheap pair of driving shades over them. And I looked like a fucking dork, but it essentially does the same thing. But yeah, Los Angeles' streets are really inconvenient for driving for like 20 reasons. Yeah. How y'all doing? Am I a boogaloo boy? Listen, I'm just here to stir shit up. And by stir shit up, I do of course mean your mother's organs. All right? I'm getting in there. Making it sound like mac and cheese up in there, okay? Chill. Yeah, how y'all doing? Apparently, Natalie is having some trouble with her internet, so she'll be appearing on Riley's computer and setup and stuff. So she'll be here shortly, but she's getting that fixed or set up or whatever. But it'll only, I imagine, be a few minutes from what I'm interpreting from their messages. Excuse me, who's Riley? Riley Grace Rochong is a wonderful bread tuber and a friend of Contra's. I actually don't know what they are. I don't know if they're friends or like girlfriends. I have no idea. I actually don't know. Aren't they dating? I don't know. I've never asked, so I don't know. They're dating, I think. That makes sense. Will I ask now? Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. So, yes, RGR is indeed based in Pog-Pilled. We now have, by the way, confirmation that Ilhan Omar does and has indeed used the term poggers. We are living at the razor's edge, people. We are living. Yeah, no, it's true. It is true. She said poggers. No, it's true. Which means we're getting precipitously close to the word poggers being introduced into the Constitution, thus making it a document truly representative of its people. When on Twitter, I retweeted it like 2 days ago, following the whole Among Us thing, of course. That's like the right time to be saying poggers. Say poggers after sex? Yeah, of course, obviously. Yeah, obviously. You guys don't say poggers after sex? What was it then? Weird champ sex? I mean, it's one or the other, you know. What are you throwing out there? What? Listen, if there's gonna be a Twitch emote thrown out there, you want it to be a good one, okay? You don't want to throw out a lol W. You don't want to throw out a weird champ. You don't want to. You don't want to throw out a kek W. You want to throw out a goddamn poggers, okay? Yeah, Trump's Twitter account was hacked. Password was MAGA 2020. Makes me wish I had tried that, to be perfectly honest. I'll take the time in federal prison. Just the idea of getting in by typing in MAGA 2020 is just... No, seriously, that's real. That's true. No, that's completely real. Yeah, no, that's completely real. Yep. Apparently, he didn't even have, like, 2-factor authentication on or something. You can just slide right in there, baby. Just get the fucking nuclear codes or something. You know he's DMing nuclear codes to like other people in his DMs, you know, like obviously, of course, you know. He'll like share military secrets, like, yeah, we're moving troops to here, you know, they're taking this city. Absolutely, 100%. You know he's getting through that. Holy fuck, our classified information is so screwed. Well, yeah, dude, the entire Republican Party is like a honeypot fiesta. I've said this before, but like, all you have to do to get like deep state secrets out of a Republican is like just sort of show them a picture of like a 14-year-old gymnast, and like they'll tell you anything you want to know for a chance to be in a bedroom with her, okay? These people have no self-control whatsoever. They're just you can get anything from them, okay? You could draw. You could show them like a hentai dojin, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, okay, what do you need to know about our troop movements in Syria?" Like you'll get anything from them. It's so easy. Yeah. Talk about Rudy and Borat 2. I'll wait for the damn thing to come out, okay? I'll wait. Talk about the Maxwell docs. I don't know. I just woke up to it. I don't know. I haven't read it. You know, we're doing the just vote thing. We're waiting on Contra, but that's okay. Well, you know what? As it turns out, even if we're waiting on Contra, I am actually a live streamer, perfectly capable of entertaining you guys on my own. You know, we can wait it out. It's totally fine. Have you heard the news about Poland? Abortion is officially illegal in case of any fetal defects. Awesome. Great. Wait, hold on. What is your beef with Harris? Wait, what? You seem to agree with him on more points than disagree, even that Bernie or Busters are crazy not to support Biden. Is he right for the wrong reasons? Do you mean H Bomber guy? I don't have a real beef with H Bomber guy. That's Harris, right? That's who we're talking about, right? Yeah, that's not Sam Harris. Wait, hold on. Don't gaslight me. Wait, is H Bomber guy's name not? Is there not a Harris in there? Hold on. Yeah, Harris. His name is Harris. Yeah, don't. It's not talking about Sam Harris. Shut the fuck up. I fucking hate you people. Okay, Jesus Christ. You fucking disinfo agents. Fuck me. You should all work for fucking O'Keefe. Okay, with the shit you pull. I don't have an issue with H Bomber guy. I fucking love his videos, mate. The main issue is that I'm like an edgy boy, so a lot of people in BreadTube don't like me because I'm edgy. Though, to be honest, I kind of get the feeling that most of them are okay with me, and they just know their audiences hate me, so if they were to follow me on Twitter or collaborate with me in any way, then it would make their audiences angry. But that does annoy me, because I think that you should always be willing to make your audiences angry. At all times. Wait, Jesus Christ, Vosh, I did mean Sam Harris, what the fuck, for fuck's sake? Oh! Because Sam Harris is a stupid piece of shit. Because he has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to philosophy. He's a fucking hack. All of his conclusions are unfounded. He claims to have solved the is-ought gap, which is fucking laughable. Claiming to have solved the is-ought gap as a philosopher is like being a scientist and saying you've created a perpetual motion machine, okay? It's like a laughable fourth grader's interpretation of what, like, the smart guy philosophy move is. Additionally, his entire political position, like his entire fucking political perspective, orients around justifications for colonialism and Islamophobia. Like, that's his entire fucking career. He was like the liberal they brought out to justify post 9/11 Islamophobia in a pseudo-intellectual way. Oh, we're not rampaging, crusading, dipshit bigots. No. We're just preserving Western values by challenging the institutions and agencies that are... Nah, fuck that. I've watched his shit. He's unimpressive intellectually. I mean, if he thinks Biden should win, great, phenomenal, but he's done a lot of damage to public discourse. Anyone who associates with that IDW trash is almost like tautologically going to do harm to society. I don't do anything to my beard. I just trim it every like 2 months. You know? Is being edgy really useful? Don't you think you should work towards better optics as you grow? Buddy, if you don't think I've been working towards better optics as I grow, you were not watching me a year ago. Holy shit. If you think there hasn't been an upward trend, okay, you gotta watch some old VODs, all right? There has been a distinct improvement, but I think you can be edgy and still be, popular. I think that's totally possible. Edgy doesn't have to mean like, controversial necessarily. Though, I mean, often they do. Oh, shit, wait, I'm ignoring the message. Hold on. You didn't have to go in on Tim Pool on Twitter like that, dude. I'm just wetting my teeth, baby. I'm just getting a taste. Can we check 538? 538's in the same position it used to be. Don't.
Hello.
Howdy. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. On the eve of the final presidential debate.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's gonna be, it sure will be
An
a
event.
series of images and sounds.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It will be a contiguous collection of sensory inputs that we will just sort of embrace.
Yeah, that sure is happening.
You're that hyped for it, huh? They're gonna be able to mute mics this time around, apparently. So we might actually see Trump
That's actually
like
gonna be fascinating.
silently rage.
Honestly, like the evolution of like what is it essentially amounts to like live stream debate technology in front of the national eye is honestly fascinating.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. What we need to do, of course, is we need to get live stream chats up on screen for C-SPAN, you know? Why can we not see the American people and their input live?
Their live reactions, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Emotes only. No chat, no text. Yeah, just hieroglyphics.
Yeah. Honestly, why even have an election? Let's just decide it based on that.
Well, if we did that, then the Democrats would win.
Well, I guess that's true. I don't know.
They can't have that, can they? They can't have. They're trying to keep us down. The unrepresentative electoral democracy.
I'm still traumatized from like 2016 when all the chat was full of like Pepes and MAGAs.
But we've reclaimed Pepe since then, you know. Now,
yeah, I think it's a different time.
It's a different Pepe's time. Neutral now.
Yeah, true.
Pepe's just edgy. Now it's the Groiper is like the distinctively, but not as many people use that. It doesn't have the same catch on.
No, it's true. It's true. I don't know. I think I was too front lines in 2016. To me, I just can't bring myself to use Pepe.
Is it too, like the association is just too rough?
It's too deep. The association's too deep.
Gotcha. Well, I totally understand. It's been a difficult 4 years for all of us. What's going on with your internet, by the way? I heard you had to skip town to find a different connection to use.
I did. I mean, I've had just constant problems. Like my patrons are aware of it. Comcast basically has a monopoly in Baltimore, and the result is just like absolute devastation of anyone's ability to be online predictably.
Yeah. We up until recently, before I switched to fiber, I was also working with Xfinity, which is a Comcast subsidiary. And my experiences with them, I imagine, were somewhat comparable. Maybe better than yours, though. I didn't have long-term outages.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not supposed to. It's more of an issue of like, if something goes wrong, it's very, very difficult to get anything done about it. Mm-hmm. And things do sometimes go wrong.
There was a tactic I learned from an old political streamer I used to watch. Have you tried threatening your local ISP office with a bomb threat?
No, I haven't, but I've tried almost everything else.
Oh, okay. There's always the final option, you know.
So it's good. Yeah, I didn't think of that, but yeah, it's true. That's good to have in reserve.
Yeah, think outside of the box.
Of course.
First of all, wait. Okay, so the banter aside, congratulations on 1 million subs.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you are now confirmed the best trans on YouTube. I think. In the political space, at least.
The most subscribed, yeah, I think that's true.
Right, the best.
Yeah, right, of course.
Yeah, congratulations. In all seriousness, that's really awesome.
Politics is not as good as makeup.
Oh God, no. Those channels are massive. It's actually disgusting, you know? Because I think like, I put so much work in, my channel growth, and then I look at like some of the makeup channels, and these people, they're like 10 million, and they do like nothing compared to what we do. We work hard for our sliver of the pie, you know?
Well, because I do the makeup and then I do politics.
Yeah, you're pulling double duty too. You're doing the makeup channel work for the political
reward. Viewership. Yeah.
It's fucked up.
True.
Is that the secret? Could I break 1 million subs if I did like a eyeliner and crap? I'm not opposed. You know, I don't. I
I
think
don't think it would
I've
hurt.
worn
I
it.
don't think it would hurt, honestly. Like, I think if you could do a good cut crease while talking about theory, I think there is definitely an audience for that.
All right, okay. I'll keep it in mind. You know, I'm not very dexterous when it comes to self-application of material, but I can give it some thought.
Well, it's all about blending, and
Yeah.
then you can kind of just avoid eyeliner because that's the dexterity part.
Well, that's the sexy part, right? The eyeliner is like because that's what everybody thinks about when they think of bomb-ass makeup.
Guess that's true. Well, I like to do eyeshadow with no eyeliner, actually. For some reason, I just don't like the look of eyeliner on my eye shape. So you can just copy that line that I just said, and you can use that to explain why you don't do it.
Okay, fair. I'll use that. I'll take any excuse I can get. I hope I'd look good in eyeshadow because I've got these big bulky glasses. You know, maybe if I didn't wear them as much, but until I get LASIK, it's just I feel like it would just look like the cavernous shadow behind my lenses. You know.
You could always get some prescription, like, I don't know, vibrantly colored contacts like a lot of beauty vloggers wear.
True. And mask my glorious Aryan heritage, Natalie. I don't know. That's a big political weapon I have.
Well, you could enhance your glorious Aryan heritage.
Sure, just some like Twilight tier, beautiful baby blues slapped right on top of the irises.
Honestly, I think that would be kind of a moment.
Okay, well, you know what? If I blow up after taking your advice, I'll credit you. And once I hit 5 million subs for my combined makeup theory YouTube videos, I'll shout you out in the comment section. Okay?
That would be appreciated.
How are you doing? Broadly.
I'm like doing terrible, honestly. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm doing okay. I'm like keeping it together. It's just kind of weird because I'm like sort of at the peak of my career, and yet like emotionally a wreck.
I mean,
Maybe
you don't
that's
have to
not
talk
weird.
about it if you don't want. Do you mean like emotionally wrecked because of the precipice of fascism we're teetering on, or
That's
just
definitely a contributing factor, but it's
channel
also just
drama?
there's also just like it's a lot of stuff. Like there's personal things, there's like mental health things, there's the political thing. It all kind of like there's the quarantine. Like it's a lot of factors at once that are kind of like producing a very bad year for me.
I get you. Yeah, I saw you not doomer posting. What's the sad posting on Twitter?
Sad posting,
Yeah,
yeah.
sad posting on Twitter yesterday, which I totally get. I mean, it's been a rough year. I think for pretty much everybody. I am legendarily averse to going outside anyway, so I feel like I've been weathering things slightly better than most people. But it's still been pretty bad altogether, I have to say.
Well, it's funny. I think of myself as such an introvert, but the minute I'm not allowed to leave, suddenly that becomes the most oppressive thing in the world. And like,
Well, right, because you want to not
yeah.
leave because you don't want to, you know? It's the I'm
Right.
not fired, I quit thing. Like, you have to be
Yeah,
able to say,
it makes a
I
big difference.
choose to stay
Yeah.
inside today.
Yeah, it makes a big difference why you're staying inside. If it's because, oh, I'm just too smart for parties, then that's fun, right? But if it's,
Oh, that's very fun, yes.
that's being an internet introvert. But if it's because you're not allowed to go to parties, well, now suddenly all I want to do is go to parties.
The worst thing is that I think in everybody's friend circle, there's the one friend who still is going to parties. And and you're caught kind of in like a 50-50 because on one hand you wish them well and you hope they're okay, but on the other hand, like in a karmic sense, you want them to get COVID because it would justify you staying inside. And you're just like reading on the feed the pictures of them out with 40 other people, no one wearing a mask, and you're like, okay, all right.
Well, I probably had COVID in March, which like or April. I got it in March. Like this was before anyone was taking this seriously enough, and I went to Disneyland and got pretty sick afterwards, which I'm pretty sure was COVID. Like respiratory symptoms.
Oh, geez, with the fever and everything.
Yeah, it lasted about a month. I mean, not the worst of it lasted a month, but I had a cough. My friend who I went with had to go to the hospital because she has asthma on top of it, and so she had to, she was having trouble breathing, had to get on steroids.
Yeah, this sounds familiar to me a little bit. Yeah, you're patient zero. You brought it to America. How could you?
Well, I may have brought it to the East Coast. I don't think I brought it to America.
Oh, that's fine then. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
New York City is
But
overpopulated anyway. You know, it's
in New
gotta
York City,
spread.
I might be responsible for that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's fine. They seem to be handling it well anyway. Well, I'm getting COVID in 6 days. I'm flying out to IRL debate and a prominent conservative, and they
Oh
said
wow.
I can only do it if I lick the doorknobs on the way in, and we're gonna have to So we'll see how that goes.
Man, I haven't heard people doing that. I used to do that kind of stuff like 3 years ago.
The doorknob licking?
Well, I still do that, but the political debates, I used to get people, I don't know. I've always had a very difficult time with Twitter and like people got with it so if I talked to a conservative, even in the context of a debate where I was disagreeing, people be like, Natalie, who's best friends with a fascist, like blah 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 blah.
Wait, who was the fascist?
Well, like whoever I was debating, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously. I feel like there's a portion of the left internet that is never going to warm up to the fact that engaging with the discourse is actually good and helpful to our side.
No, they know. They think that it's actually betrayal to talk to anyone outside of the movement.
Yeah. They don't do that. The other way around.
No, they don't. They
Yeah,
love talking to everyone. They'll talk to anyone.
yeah, like literally
Mhm.
under any circumstances. Like the
I
conservatives will
know.
drag themselves through gutters to like talk with like sewer imps to get their side of the story, you know? They love
Yo,
engaging with people.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love it. They love the outrage. Oh, you're a Marxist Leninist? Well, do you have a moment to talk about about our dear leader? Like they'll take anyone.
Yeah. For leftists though, the only way you can move further left is stochastically by accident arriving at those positions of your own volition, because
Yes.
otherwise it would imply you have to engage with people who aren't as far left as you to arrive at that point, and you don't want that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
each person must individually deduce the precepts of Marxist Leninism. Otherwise,
otherwise they can
otherwise,
never learn about Marxism Leninism. Yeah,
right.
they have
Otherwise,
to
they can never learn. Yeah.
listen. They can lead you to the door, but they can also open the door up for you. You know, they can do it all. Speaking of
Yeah.
epically owning the left, how's the reception been to your latest video?
Pretty hostile, I've got to say. Um, I was not expecting it to be so. Um, well, I sort of knew there was going to be pushback, which is why the video is the way it is.
Mhm.
But I was it the number of people who are just like infuriated by the suggestion that voting for Biden is morally permissible even has kind of surprised me.
They get really mad. Have you seen the people saying that you are once again NB-phobic because Tabby goes by she, they, and therefore you are making a mockery of the very concept of being addressed with a gender-neutral pronoun?
I haven't. I guess I've seen a little bit of that.
It's very good. The discourse is very hot
Yeah,
lately. Yeah.
that sounds very hot.
I think they're mostly
I
defensive because they know they're bad people, like the Bernier Busters. I think, like on some level, they know that.
well,
I can be more condemnatory than you can. I think because I argue with these people all the time. I think fundamentally they know they're being selfish, like aesthetics-driven, conceited dipshits. So they get really defensive when they're called out on it. You know?
oh, so sorry. 1 second. Riley texted me that the camera isn't on. Should I turn the video on?
Oh, I would love to have the camera on. I just wasn't
Yeah,
because
let
I
me
know you're
turn
at
it
a
on.
different setup. I didn't know if it was an option.
Yeah, it is an option. Okay. Oh, there it is.
Pog. Oh,
Oh,
that's.
that's a lot. It's very HD. I don't know if I like this.
Oh no! It's you. Wait, what are you using like a shoe on head tier 480p camera for your
Well, that's what I use. Yeah, I use a shoe on head a shoe on head camera. Yeah.
you all
Um,
that's a tactic I got to learn. I too have been dealing with the HD facial pore situation.
it's a horrible thing. It's inhuman, honestly. Like
Mhm.
4K especially, like should be banished to Siberia.
Yeah,
Okay.
remember when 4K news broadcasting was starting to come into vogue and people were making jokes about how a bunch of newscasters were going to retire under these
Oh
unfavorable
yeah.
and inhumane conditions?
Yeah, well, it is inhumane. Like honestly, they should, cause here's the thing. Like a lot of YouTubers, what they do is, I'm sorry, I'm getting this way off topic.
That's okay.
They use like skin smoothing apps, and like a lot of beauty vloggers, they use skin smoothing apps.
Mhm.
So those hair vitamins that you're buying are you being sold to you by someone whose skin is being finally compressed by an algorithm into looking like a smooth surface. But yeah, it's honestly, I think we should just abolish 4K. Like, just film in 1080. There's no reason that you need to see human skin in any more detail than that.
Or at
It just,
all, honestly.
or at all, yeah. Like, no one likes it. It's horrible.
Yeah, we should all go to the VTubing, you know, like the anime. Yeah, you've seen. Yeah, this is undoubtedly the future of React content online. Or maybe that Snapchat anime filter. That thing looks pretty good too. Like, it looks pretty convincing.
Well, I mean, it's funny how, like, the minute you introduce the technology of video chat, you have people trying to do anything but look like what's in front of the camera. Like, on Zoom, you have like these fake backgrounds. You have like the improve my appearance thing you can check.
Is that a real thing? I haven't used that Zoom function.
Yeah, it's like a skin smoothing thing. So, but I don't know. I just think the idea of video chat is itself inherently oppressive.
I think we should all just embrace being ugly. Personally, I think we need to just, because here's the problem. Okay, 2,000 years ago, everybody smelled like shit. Nobody wiped their ass, and these people were still pumping out 20 kids every generation. Clearly, we have a fundamental genetic propensity for getting it on. Even without all the modern makeup and what have you, hygiene technology we have, clearly our standards have been raised too high. We need to return to monkey.
No, I do think that like, I mean, this is really getting off topic. I do think that sexuality has been like commodified in this way, where people think that in order to have to have sex appeal, you have to present yourself like an advertisement. But that is obviously not how humanity evolved. So this is like a construct of like media consciousness.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't be doing this if somebody wasn't making money off it, right? We were just talking about how big makeup YouTube is. And I love it. I love the artistry, by the way. When people are dumping makeup on themselves and doing crazy ass shit, I love that. That's phenomenal, you know. I love art, you know. But there's that fine line between the artistry and the sense of obligation to not blight the world with your actual skin tone, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think like, well, and there's such a divide also between like what people do on YouTube and what people wear every day. Like, you can't wear the stuff that people wear on Instagram every day. It takes an hour to do these like sculpted brows and stuff. I guess it's kind of not in style anymore, but like, especially when I was like really getting into makeup, like it was at a time when like all the influencers were drag queens basically. Like they were baking with like white powder under the eyes. It doesn't even look good in person. It only looks good on camera.
Mm-hmm. Well, now we don't even need to do that, right? I mean, with all the facial smoothing apps and what have you, I feel like a lot of the makeup work, at least for a presentation, not for like tutorials or anything like that, can be kind of streamlined a little bit, which is maybe, 3 Arrows is in chat. Hey, 3 Arrows, I love your work. Howdy. I guess it makes things a little bit easier on that front.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with any of this shit. I just said this on Twitter.
You really chose the correct gender. Congratulations.
Yeah, I really, you know, they told me, I came out of the womb. They said, hey, you know, try being a girl. I said, no, I'm locking in. I'm gonna be a guy.
You made the right call.
Yeah. And it's just been easy. It's been easy ever since. What are you gonna do?
That must be great for you.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. We got insanely off topic here. Have you voted?
Yes.
How'd that work? Did you feel empowered?
No. I felt like I don't know, it's a sense of civic obligation.
Yeah. Well, in this community, voting makes you a power Stacy. Actually.
Oh, okay. That's good.
We celebrate participation in the electoral process here to compensate for the rest of the online left, which
that's good.
Despises
the rest of the online. No, they do. It's reverse vote shaming, right? Mm-hmm. Like they shame you for voting or for advocating voting. Like that's absolutely something. I mean, I saw people on Twitter like calling me like basically like accusing me of like aiding and abetting war crimes by having voted for Obama in 2012.
You're going to be tried at The Hague for submitting that vote to Biden, okay? They're going to lock your ass up.
because I worked on, I volunteered on the Obama campaign when I had a job as a bicycle rental sales associate
Well, that was your job.
in 2012. Yeah.
Awesome. The term voter shaming, to me is hysterical for two principal reasons. First of all, what the fuck does that? Can you not shame people for what they do? What's the point? Like, can I not
Yeah,
racism shame people?
isn't that what the online left is all about?
The
Is
whole
shaming? Like, isn't that the
primary
entire
process.
premise? The only thing that we do is shame people? Like,
All we did with Pete Buttigieg, with Warren, with
yeah,
Biden, the entire primary process. All we did, snakes, rats, geriatric old fuck, his eyeball is falling out of his head. All we did was shame people. And
shaming.
yeah, and then Bernie loses, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, listen, you're not going to win my vote by shaming me, are you? Like, it's, oh my God, the whiplash.
Exactly. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, but hey, it's okay. I think a lot of people are really upset, and they're really looking for an anti-establishment narrative to make them feel like they're not responsible for what's going on right now.
Yeah. Well, I think that is a lot of like the anti-voting sentiment is about how people relate to their own sense of responsibility, right? It's about like I feel like so much of this hostility to the concept of voting, especially for someone like Biden who's viewed as so like inadequate as a candidate, is the sense of like, well, it's kind of like it's like in philosophy they'd say like virtue ethics instead of like utilitarianism. Like people are voting or not, or rather not voting more often, or voting third party or something because they feel like their vote is this expression of themselves,
Their
like it's part of
moral
their
purity.
personal brand.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like and so to vote for Biden, like they just can't stand the thought of it because that does not express who they are, right? So, but I
Imagine
think
being a virtue ethicist, unironically, by the way. What's your best
yeah,
scoff? I can't fathom. Unbelievable, but people do it
I mean,
anyway.
I think there's situations where it kind of makes sense, but voting is like the exact opposite of those situations. Like it makes sense in like maybe interpersonal relationships, right? Where like so much matter we put so much emphasis on intention, like oh like I'm not mad that my friend did this because I know they didn't mean that. But it doesn't matter in politics. It doesn't matter what your intentions are, right? It doesn't matter. Like what it says about you as a person that it matters like what happens because utilitarianism is an ethics that deals with like the big picture, right? It deals with like the consequences of a series of actions. And so it really only makes sense to think in those terms, I think, when it comes to say like deciding whether to vote.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, hypothetically, any ethical system can be adopted in any given set of scenarios. But if you're talking about politicians who are almost by definition alienated elites whose actual beliefs and motivations are almost completely unknown to us, the idea of making these decisions based on some kind of effort to ascribe moral value to a person's character rather than their actions, it just leaves you with these big gaps. Like, I don't know what Obama's intentions were for the 8 years of his presidency. I know what he did. I can tell you what he did, but I have no idea what his intentions were. I don't know what any of your intentions are either.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't. It doesn't matter what Obama's heart is. Like it just does not. It simply does not matter. It matters what he did and what he's likely to do in the future. Like I don't know. I guess it is something that it is kind of intuitive to a lot of people. A lot of people do connect with a politician. Honestly, like there's a strong kind of like parasocial relationship that people have with politicians. Like often it's a kind of like pseudo parental one, right? And I think that to a lot of people, well, to a lot of like liberals in the Obama years, I think like Obama was like this kind of like paternal figure that people liked in part because they thought of him as a good man.
Yeah. But
and
that
then
you
if
could get sold really bad ideas if you fall down that pit too.
Well, absolutely. And I think that, I mean, like right wing people have always, like on the internet, the meme was always that for Trump was daddy, right? Like that was a thing back in like 2016 when these awful, this awful thing took hold was that like, it was Milo Yiannopoulos who called him daddy.
Yeah, no, it was a completely shameless, like psychosexual narrative and it's, I mean, it's very funny, I guess, kind of like if you were to trap it into a bottle and then study it 100 years from now. But right now in the moment, the idea of people making electoral decisions based on who they like project their personal
like misplaced like Oedipal transference.
yeah But
is
if
the
you guys are doing
alarming.
that to Joe Biden, it's actually totally
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Disclaimer to everyone in chat: if Joe Biden's your daddy, that's totally okay. He was very hot 500 years ago. It's totally okay to move those feelings forward. There you go. Okay. We really
Well, I
don't
think it's
do that,
inevitable,
though.
right? I
Yeah.
think that it is just like like a way that like I think with you know with Bernie or like that's absolutely a thing that like you people want to feel led by a politician,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that often involves a kind of like pseudo like parental relationship, right? Whereas like, in a way that like people expect female authority figures, like people don't like female authority figures in general. They're not well tolerated. But if you're going to be a woman with power, you had better be a mother, right? Like, and people expect you to feel nurtured by you if you're going to be a powerful woman.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. The and there is to an extent we do this on the left a little bit. I'm sure you're familiar with that
Yeah,
to some extent, but I think that it's the degree to which this happens is much lesser. I don't. I've very rarely do I see from people on the left a complete rejection of their faculties of reason in favor of parasocial relationships, whereas on the right it's almost something to be proud of. Like, I don't care about any fake news, mainstream media, whatever. Trump is emperor, Trump is god, he's gonna win, based MAGA 2020, and that's it. Like, that's the thought process from its beginning to its end. There's nothing else. It doesn't go beyond that.
I think for centrist liberals, there was a kind of thing like that with Obama, like the pictures of him with his family, and like the admiration for because I feel like a lot of centrist liberals, they have a great admiration for like tone of voice,
Mm-hmm.
presidents being presidential, you know, and I think that kind of admiration for these like totally like non like consequentialist like aspects of Obama's character like does play a role.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it figures. I mean, he is very charismatic and civil and all that other crap.
I
So he's
fall
gonna.
for it myself.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I was watching him yesterday speak in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and like I honestly like cried at part of it because when I was 18 or 19, like oh, you know, this is 2000. I'm old, sorry. Like this is 2008, and like Obama was the first politician. Like this is my first election voting. Obama was the first politician I ever like stand. And like when I was a teenager, I loved him. Like I really like I fully bought into the idea that he was gonna like because I don't know all I had known since I was the whole time I was a teenager was Bush. And like I fully bought into the idea like this is like hope for this country, like he's gonna turn this country around, like you know the war is gonna end, and like it's the first black president. Like it meant so much to me when I was
Yeah.
young,
No.
and
100%.
I just feel the emotional like I'm still susceptible to like going like emotionally re-entering that state of mind, even though like I would never enter that state of mind with a politician now.
Yeah, well, and I think that was very useful too, because one
Yeah,
of the big reasons
absolutely.
that Bernie Sanders ended up getting such a surge of support in 2016, very nearly defeating Hillary. I mean, not neck and neck, but I mean a really good shot for a former independent, socialist-leaning maverick political candidate, was because people were so disappointed with Obama. They got sold the idea of change for 8 years, and all they saw was him getting cucked by Republicans for pretty much the entire time. And I think that disillusionment puts people in a position where they're more open to radical ideas. And whether they
I
move
agree.
to the right or the left depends on who gets to them first after that period of disillusionment. And one of the big issues is the right has all these figures like Trump and Jordan Peterson, who are very, very good at taking disillusioned young men with daddy issues and giving them a new narrative to latch onto. And I'm basically just repeating the content of your JBP video to you, so I'm just going to stop talking because you know what I'm talking about.
No, you're absolutely right. I do think that like I don't know. I think that I mean I'm also speaking like let's like my own audience refers to me as mother. So I don't think
I get it too.
yeah.
Less than
Oh,
you, but I do.
well, I think you absolutely do get it. I think that a lot like I think there's a powerful thirst for a leftist daddy to like protect the children, you know? Like it's like a strong psychological need that a lot of people have. And it is just like if you're someone who's kind of fulfilling that for people as both of us are, it is an unusual situation. It's hard to know what to make of the situation because on the one hand, I think it's kind of inevitable, and I also think that in some ways it does some good, but it's also like kind of inherently like sort of a fucked up
It's
place to
so
be in.
weird sometimes. Yeah.
It's weird.
If
It's
they're
weird as
spamming
fuck.
in chat like Daddy Vosh, that's whatever. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But if every once in a while I'll get like an email from somebody who wants like my advice in a really deeply personal problem, like really
Yeah.
deeply personal, they want to come out to their family, and they're not just asking for general tips. They want like specific pointers on how to deal or navigate the situation. And I think to a lot of these people, they legitimately see me as like a father or an older brother, which is very flattering. But at the same time, it can, I think, lead to some very unmet expectations. You know.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way where like when people call me like dark mother and to, stab in my throat, like the meme, oh, that's fine. I think that's hilarious. Um, but sometimes it's very clear to me that it's not just a meme. Like sometimes I guess I get exactly that same thing, or people will tell me like, "Oh, you inspired me to transition," and it's like I don't like that now because I don't know you. Like it's I don't know. It's just weird to feel that you're like it's like more of an effect on someone's life than I want to have. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that too sometimes, though I imagine for different reasons. For me, it's more like the your arguments made me more comfortable, like intellectually, with the concept of being transgender. So it made more sense to
Yeah.
me, and then I guess it really depends on how they handle that. Like how much of that is them taking the baton and running off with their own life, and how much of them is
Yeah.
like waiting hand and foot on information. Do you have like a public email where you get a lot of fans and you respond to all of them, or do you keep it distanced?
I have a public email, but I have I have an assistant who
Okay.
looks at it for me and like I kind of see the best of.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I feel like that's probably a very fucking good idea, I have to say.
Yeah, at a certain point it becomes like not practical to like wade through that on your own.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll make the switch someday. God damn it. With this electoral business, do you I know I asked you this the last time we talked, I'm sorry. Do you consider yourself a socialist or like a social democrat, or is this question meaningless to you?
Yeah, I think that what I am really is like a Bernie Sanders social democrat. Um, like I, you're gonna have to like revolution pill me because, but I mean I guess I feel that that's my position like because to me that represents like the most progressive thing I can like imagine like as something that seems plausibly obtainable to me. Um, I guess, do I think that am I like a utopian who thinks nope, that's the ideal form of government? Like history has to end there. No, I don't think that. No, I don't think that at all. But I just think practically instead of and I guess when I just think about describing my political positions, I'm thinking about like what am I trying to what are we trying to get now? I'm not necessarily thinking theoretically about like what's the ideal society. I don't know what the ideal society is. And I'm like a little bit suspicious of attempts to like a priori like announce what it is.
Would you
But I
say
think that
would you say you're waiting to see the advancement of the material conditions before deciding the correct path forward for society? Because if you say that, you become a Marxist automatically. You take the Marxism pill.
I think I'll go with that.
Okay, cool. Well, welcome to the party. It's all about framing, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. Well, that's so true. But like using the correct vocabulary.
I'm sorry. It's the discourse around like what makes a person a real leftist is so fucking stupid online these
It's
days.
so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even
Well,
know.
these days, a lot of people tell me that I'm just not a leftist, which is interesting because like a few years ago, like with positions fairly similarly, like I was regarded as like a crackpot, like communist.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the online discourse has really shifted to the point where like voting is now considered like you said in your stream about this vote like even voting for like these very utilitarian purposes is like is considered to be like counter-revolutionary like betrayal of the revolution, which is like you said in your stream like this is a position like not even held by like Lenin, like
Mhm.
is now common on the internet left.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head when you spoke of the revolutionary ideation as a sort of what did you say, like a post-apocalyptic fantasy. It's like a zombie apocalypse fantasy. Like, what ridiculous
Yeah,
imaginary situation do I have to conjure in which I am no longer somebody who works part-time at Starbucks and sometimes has trouble
yeah,
maintaining an erection during hookups, but am
yeah,
instead a proud revolutionary soldier carrying the battle flag over the bodies of landlords, you know? And people
yeah.
people latch onto
Yeah.
that. It's escapism.
It's escapism. It's like almost like the rapture, right? Like wait, Christians waiting for, or like an apocalyptic cult kind of vision. Like we will soon be redeemed from this miserable life.
Mhm.
Like the Messiah is coming to bring salvation. Like I feel like if that's your expectation for a revolution, also that's not realistic either.
Yeah, I loved the people who were saying that you were downplaying revolutionary action as a concept too. When you said
Right.
that global economic transitions are things that can take a very long time with an incredible number of different events that coincide towards a broad paradigm shift rather than like one glorious day, you know?
No, there's not going to be one glorious day. I mean, think like the Russian Revolution, that was more than 100 years ago. Capitalism is still here. Like,
Ooh, don't get me like that, Natalie. It hurts
sorry.
still when you say it. But
Sorry.
it's true though. And even the
Yeah.
Russian Revolution took like a decade, and there were many, many,
Yeah.
many things that happened. People think, well, a lot of people think, I swear to God, when you read people talk about, 1917, they think it was like Lenin amassed an army and then just
Right.
overthrew the Tsar, and then kablamo, they did it, USSR.
Right.
That wasn't what there were
The
backstabbing, and they
white
had to work
guard.
with liberals.
Yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a lot went on. It was a really busy period of time, and a lot of
It-
people died.
yeah. It's not fun. It's not easy. And at the end, you have Stalin.
Whoa, wait, hold on,
Maybe
wait. Do we have a problem with Stalin? I'm kidding. Don't.
you're joking,
Yeah,
right?
I'm joking. We're
I feel
all
that Stalin is like,
we're all
in
goofing here.
certain ways, not an ideal leader.
In a couple of ways, yeah.
Yeah.
He did some wacky stuff, you know.
Yeah, he did some wacky stuff. I mean, like you give credit where it's due. Like he industrialized the country and like defeated Hitler. Like those are good things. But I don't think I personally don't really see myself flourishing under Stalin.
Yeah, I mean, Hitler killed Hitler. You know, if you want to play
Sure. Yeah,
utilitarian
that's true.
hardball, you can
That's
get a
true.
lot of good out of a lot of the well, technically World War II advanced the technological development of the West by quite a lot, and
Yeah,
also led to the you can go a lot of directions if you
sure.
want to do this. He was
Sometimes
a
good things
terrible
come
man,
from bad
but
things.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
can we talk also about like I feel like I've been seeing this all the time. Like internet leftists who are just like totally like, oh, Stalin's great actually. Like everything that we think about him, that's just CIA propaganda. And like I've been seeing this more and more often too.
I
Like
don't
it's
think
called like
these
tankyism.
I don't think these people are that different from neo-Nazis, to be perfectly honest. In my
Yeah,
engagement with them, their patterns of behavior, the arguments they use, the tactics they use are almost identical. It generally relies on a complete denial of all
yeah,
existing information on the subject due to the nefarious attribution of biases to it, whether it be Jewish or bourgeois media.
yeah,
The complete just historical revisionism, genocide denialism, and online it tends to be, for the most part, edgy 14-year-olds who are looking to stand out in their high school
yeah.
history class.
Well,
Not
I
so
used to
much
do that
serious
too.
people.
I was when I was 14, I went through a stage like that where I was like a communist
Hmm.
because I thought it was as Bush was president, I was being provocative. Is that what this is? Is that all it is?
I mean, have you like seen like youth spaces online these days? I feel like about a third of all American teenagers are either Marxist Leninists or
Yeah.
neo-Nazis now. Like, it's insane. It has been pushed so early. There are these
Dude.
kids.
Yeah.
These people come on my stream. They talk. They're like, "Hey, dude, I used to be a
Yeah.
neocon and then a Nazi, and now I'm like a far left Anson, and I wanted your opinion." I'm like, "How old are you?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm 13." Like,
Yeah.
the fuck do you be? Shut up! Stop! You're ruining.
Get off the stream, yeah.
You're
Yeah,
ruining
well, I think it's
everything.
like, yeah. I do think that is like a thing that you have to remind yourself when you're online is that you don't know who's behind these accounts. And like sometimes I will find myself getting very upset at what someone's saying, only to stop myself and be like, am I getting upset about a 13-year-old? Like, because if a person's 13, I don't care at all that they say these things, right? But I find myself often getting upset at what anonymous accounts are saying. Like, am I getting upset? Are these tankies 13? Maybe they are. Maybe I'm getting myself worked up. I'm being trolled. I'm being trolled by tweens.
Well, the real problem that I have is the content creators and influencers, or get them to be this way. People don't become 13-year-old MLs or Nazis or whatever
Yeah.
without being influenced or having some sort of aesthetic presented to them that they like. And very often you'll find these people get their ideas from what are essentially like online groomers. There are these small, very tight-knit, politically extremist communities that deliberately go after young people online so they can radicalize them. An audience that's completely uncritical, that just wants to be different and edgy. And, I mean, this is what Steve Bannon did with Gamergate and the incels.
Well, I'm very familiar with the way this works in the right wing, like in the far right spaces. Like the way, right, they'll pull in incels, they'll pull in disillusioned gamers, they'll pull in, like, I mean, well, they call it the Pewdie pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Like, because I think, I mean, which is not to say that I think PewDiePie is deliberately involved. Of course not. But I think that, yeah, like a video game YouTube became this like point of contact for like far right extremism. Yeah, I don't know where the Marxist-Leninism thing comes from. Is this it's like Facebook groups? Do kids use Facebook? I don't know. Like, where does like or Nazbol? You know what? Like Nazbol is that's such an internet teenager phenomenon. Like, where is that coming from? I have no idea.
I think it's a real threat in the future, though.
It could, yeah,
Because I think as time goes on, for populist people,
yeah,
traditional capitalist economics become more and more indefensible. And populism always trends against capitalism in the long run, because capitalism consolidates power to a very small group of people. And if you take, on one hand, the anti-capitalism, but also a seething fucking hatred of black people, you get this idiosyncratic position that would never work in reality for a number of reasons, but is very appealing to a particular subset of edgy dipshits. And I think those people could potentially be a huge threat down the line, you know?
Well, I feel like racism in general is in America like possibly the biggest obstacle for the left. Um, I mean, not just with edgy teenagers, but period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Like I mean, it's something that I've seen again and again online is that like people are so racist. like,
True.
like it's and it's. I mean, I don't know how like there's different ways you can like theorize this, but I mean, so some people I know like Ta-Nehisi Coates, like to the irritation of a lot of Marxists, said that like race is like the primordial caste system in the United States, and but I think that like in effect that he's right about that like I've always the biggest obstacle to any kind of like class solidarity or class consciousness in the country is the fact that white people across classes will identify with whiteness and unify under whiteness before they will
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
This is what so many of these edgy anti-woke leftists don't understand. People are just looking for narratives. Everyone wants somebody to blame for why their life's not going well. Everyone, leftist, right, doesn't matter. Everyone is. Some people's narratives are more correct than others. The idea that, the bourgeois accumulate capital and use it to consolidate political power, and they use this to promote their own interests at the expense of the proletariat, totally verifiable, great theory, let's work with it. The issue is, if people are obsessed with other narratives about anti-Semitism, about racism, about culture war nonsense like transgender bathrooms, they get hung up on the idea that the world is the way it is because of these issues. If you eliminate these concerns, more and more people realize there is only one real war, and it is the class war. That's why the old union busters back in the turn of the 20th century were so obsessed with making sure unions were racially segregated. If you're not letting black folk in, you keep people focused on the race and not the class.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I'm not. I think I might dissent a little bit in the sense, like maybe I misunderstood you, but I think that like I actually don't know that I do agree that in the United States there is only one real war. Like I think that the
oh wait, can I clarify? I know exactly what you're about to say. When I say the one war, what I mean is the one legitimate thing to get angry about, like the actual narrative. Because while there is no real like threat that black people are to destroy white America, the bourgeois
Yeah.
legitimately represents an antithesis to the interest of the proletariat. So that's what I meant. Sorry, not one
Or,
war
yeah.
is, and there's only one conflict. There certainly isn't one true thing to be worried about for most people.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think honestly, I think it's like reasonable for a black person in America today to view racism as more dangerous than capitalism,
Mhm. Oh
for
yeah, for
example.
sure. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know how well that can be. It's a very difficult thing to empirically parse because we don't know if it weren't for the capitalism, like how much higher could your standard of living be? It's very difficult to know. But in terms of immediate, empirical, measurable threats, racism is right here. It's right here.
It's fatal. It's deadly.
Yeah.
In a very immediate way.
And capitalism
Yeah.
is more like a higher level ephemeral
Yeah.
issue
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
real, but it's priorities, right? And you have to get people
Yeah.
on your side too. You're not going to do that by dismissing racism as a concept.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Pog.
Based and pog.
Thank you. Um, how do
Is
you
this what people
feel?
say now? Is this how we talk?
I mean, it's how I talk.
Yeah.
Streamer language invariably gets consolidated into a very narrow set of limited iconographic expressions that I'm frankly very happy to endorse. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I find it. I think it's fun. I honestly, even when the right wing was generating all these words, that they come out of they come right out of my mouth. I can't stop. Like for years, I would describe things as like uncucked. I just think it's hilarious.
It's funny as fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hilarious.
Yeah. This conversation is extremely uncucked.
Extremely
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And so much funny discourse stems from it too. Male insecurity or white male insecurity
Yeah.
is a constant
It's a lot of
source of
fun.
hilarity. It's objectively hilarious.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can derive infinite, sort of satirical content from that.
Well, it's actually turned out to be like very culturally generative. Like the Chad versus the incel, and like these things are like have entered like common parlance.
Yeah, and the incel versus Chad meme is still probably my favorite meme from whatever the fuck year that came from. So I'm really happy to see that sort of stuck around
Yeah.
as a format.
Some of it, of course, is like is I mean the stuff that doesn't stick is often really awful though. Like no one we all remember the Chad and the Virgin, but we forget about like all the other awful incel the cock carousel and the or roasties or like the really like violent misogynistic undertone of it gets lost and as we like remember like the hilarious part, which is mostly the part about the personal insecurity, is the part where because there's a kind of brutal honesty with themselves in a way almost when they talk about the Chad and the incel. Well, it's not maybe not honesty, but a kind of self-roasting
Yeah.
that I find to be kind of like that's what's attractive about it.
They're very sad people. And that can be fun. That can be
Yeah.
impressive in its own way at times, There are very few
Yeah,
communities willing to engage in self-debasement as readily as some of these online
like the
right-wing.
self-abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've always believed that when it comes to stuff like like the incel versus Chad or Pepe or whatever, I generally think it's best to adopt these memes as quickly as possible because the faster you adopt them, because their goal is there are all these edgy, disaffected centrists who, oh, look at these funny frog memes, and then they hear the frog memes are racist. Well, I'll do the frog memes because they're funny, and then they get led into communities that are really, really bad. If you do the frog memes too, it loses that power,
I think that's true. I think that is effective to very quickly like incorporate these like the memes into your own kind of idiom, right? Like it kind of you sort of skip to the point of making these things ironic, and you take a lot of the original power away from it.
Yeah, and that way, because there are a lot of, I'm sorry, lefty dipshits. They think like using the Pepe symbol, it means like it's a hate symbol, whatever. There's association, sure. But let's be real. When a racist is using Pepe memes or whatever, the problem isn't the Pepe. You can tell the person is racist. These people aren't subtle with it, It's like a Pepe is like doing the face, and then there's like a Somali immigrant Wojak with like a white Swedish woman. Like you can tell what's going on here.
Yeah.
So to make the issue the icon people like and not the content the icon is being used to sell, you get people on the idea that the left is anti-fun, which I think were a blast personally.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I think that there's a period where where Pepe would have been kind of a trigger to me, or would have kind of signaled suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
I think that period is over. I think that, but I also, yeah, I think it's important for like leftists to keep in mind that like the whole point of Pepe, the reason that it was good for them, is the very arbitrariness of the symbol itself, right? Like that's the way that this kind of memeing works,
Mm-hmm.
is that they sort of hijack these like sort of familiar cultural symbols, or and then sort of give it this um new meaning in the end, where it becomes like a shibboleth, like in their own particular context, you know. So I mean, like this was very popular in 2016, 2017. The milk emoji had its like 2 months of use, or like the okay sign, right? And you sound totally crazy if you ever talk about this, right? And I think a lot of leftists also don't understand very well how it works, and they overstate the case. And they'll say stuff like, you know, oh, you know, the okay sign is a racist symbol, and it's like, well, it's not. It's a commonplace expression that has found this like particular ironic usage among some communities of white supremacists, right?
I've thought the solution is always just to use it back more aggressively, you know? If you embrace the symbol sort of reflexively and use it when it's used on you, because sometimes if you debate someone, they'll be like, I love that debate, and they'll throw up the okay sign really aggressively. If you do it back at them, it's a way to show you're not phased, you're not flapped, but you know what they're doing, and they know that you know that they know what they're doing, but you're defeating the symbol by robbing it of its impact, you know?
Well, that's like, I think I'll do that with like turf vocabulary,
Mm-hmm.
like the way I'll use like the word biological to mean almost anything,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that I feel like it kind of reclaims in an
Biological
ironic way.
dresses. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, my biological eyelashes, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty good. I mean, whatever makes these people angry, really. That's what we're all here
Yeah,
for.
yeah. That's also part of the fun, of course.
Yeah, of course. Naturally.
Because there is also part of the fun. Like, I guess that absolutely is part of the fun for me of calling myself a biologically female, you know, whatever. Like
I
that
think
people don't.
Bouncing Bio Girl was the preferred
About happy baby
nomenclature.
bouncy bio
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
It's that people get genuinely bothered. Like, wait, I don't understand. Why are you calling yourself biological and blah blah blah? Like, it's just funny to me that you know because it's all the stupid arguments people make. Well, it's just science. Like, you have to admit that the science. Like, no, I don't.
Yeah. Also, geneticists do not use the term biologically male or biologically female.
It's not actually. People think this is scientific terminology, and it's not.
Yeah. It's a whole bimodal distribution of thousands and thousands of characteristics the essentialism, I mean, science is well past that. This is one of the things, it's why I'm very confident in the future of the left. It's that almost by necessity, this is one of the big problems with fascism. Fascism has to be anti-science. It can't be pro-science. Science arrives at conclusions that don't fit fascist narratives. So by way of being anti-science, they put themselves in a corner where almost invariably the communities that determine the way our lives will be in the future, the body of academia that we build our science upon, has to be left-wing, or at least comparatively, relative to the pressures they face. And that's a huge advantage for us.
Well, I think at some point it will always become a liability to be in denial of reality, or to be out of touch with science, or to be, you know, in the way that, like, it is politically inconvenient for Trump that the coronavirus is as severe as it is. So that was downplayed and downplayed and downplayed and downplayed until, you know, the entire administration is sick. And now it's like, you know, the reality catches up with you. So I agree that the part of what is ultimately going to continue to cause fascism to fail is that it refuses to engage with reality.
Yeah. Have you, pardon my high school sophomore recommendation? Have you read 1984?
Of course.
Yeah. There's a segment in there I'm quite fond of, in the book, where they talk about, they of course being the party wrote this, but they talk about how in a totalitarian government 2 + 2 can equal 5, and that's fine. You can get by with that. That works. The only time that doesn't work is in instances where you find yourselves against the elements or in war. 2 + 2 cannot equal 5 when you're calibrating a machine gun or when you're building a battleship. And so it is the threat of plague of war that must necessarily keep these governments in line. And because these things are inevitable, at least as long as there isn't a one world government, as they kind of have in 1984, unfortunately, they will always be able to unseat anti-scientific totalitarian regimes.
Yeah, although people do have also an alarming capacity for like compartmentalizing these things,
Yeah.
where people will kind of think, well, you think scientifically about this domain of knowledge, but about this domain, like that doesn't count. But I agree that there's there's always kind of an underlying tension that kind of threatens to pull you apart.
Yeah. Speaking of that tension and that cognitive dissonance, how do you feel about Biden's chances? The polling has been pretty favorable, but I mean, if you watch right-wing media, it looks like the Trump landslide is coming in any second now.
Yeah, well, I think that is another issue with them, right? The delusional, but being delusional about polls, like makes you incapable of adopting a strategy that to address the problem, right? And so insisting that everything's going amazing, all the polls are, big red wave coming, like, yeah, how do you know where to campaign if you think everyone's pro-Trump? Like, I think that I don't know how to what extent that kind of nonsense is actually believed within the campaign, but
I think it is. I think they're true believers.
Yeah, maybe so.
With all the super spreader event at the White House, and the fact that Trump seems to get legitimately angry when he hears like contrary information, I have a feeling they're actually like in it. They've bought it. Maybe not the campaign handlers, but the actual politicians. I think they're really in it.
Well, I think you're right about like them being in it with the coronavirus stuff, because if you weren't in it, you'd wear a mask.
Yeah, there's no reason you wouldn't.
Yeah, like you'd expect. You'd expect people who were lying to the masses but privately aware of the fact that coronavirus is a real danger to be putting on a show of not wearing a mask, but they would not be hosting their own events with no mask.
Joe Rogan did that.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan would publicly make fun of people who wear masks, kind of call them like emasculated,
Right.
But then from what we've heard from people who go to Joe Rogan's studio, he is obsessed. You must have been tested recently, sanitize everything. So I still think this is despicable, of course, but he's accurately representing the behavior of the public grift and the private concern. But the Republican Party, man, I don't know. Those people are crazy.
Joe Rogan is more intelligent than the Republican Party then, because the Republican Party, because they seem to have bought into their own grift.
Do you wish that he was hosting this upcoming debate, Joe Rogan?
Do I wish? No.
No elaboration, just no.
Who is hosting it?
Oh, wait, guys, chat. Who's the moderator? Wait, I actually don't know that.
Yeah,
not Sauger, is it? It can't be Sauger. Kristen Welker? A C-SPAN guy? Oh, a C-SPAN guy. Wow, thank you. Okay. I really appreciate you elucidating this. Okay, chat's being entirely unhelpful. It's somebody. It's a human being, presumably between the ages of 30 and 80.
I don't know. What do you think? Well, actually, I sort of don't know. I don't listen to enough Joe Rogan to know what to think about the idea of him hosting a debate.
There are some... Oh, man. I think... Okay, it is Kristen Welker. Okay, thank you. Man, with Joe Rogan, there are some things that Joe Rogan does that make me respect him a little bit, because I feel like he has so much power and such influential people come to him, and he'll just like nonchalantly challenge them on some points, which I really respect. But on the other hand, I think he's kind of dumb, and I think that he's just really, really prone to let people talk like past the fucking roof if they have a good narrative and they say it civilly. Unless Joe has a specific beef with what they're saying, he'll let them go off with it. So I don't know how good of a moderator he'd be, and I don't know if he knows anything about economics either. So
you can get very far in our media by being very confident and very polite.
Yeah. And then denouncing the left for being obsessed with political correctness. Yeah. So you get the full circle. Yeah, I don't know. How do you think the debate tonight's going to go?
Oh, I don't know. It'll be fascinating to see without the interrupting. I do think I think Trump is right that having moderation will help Biden, because when Trump's not allowed to be a bully, like I think that puts him at a disadvantage, because I think that his ideas are terrible, I think that uh, he can't actually answer for his president anything that he's done in the last 4 years. And I think that if I mean, I don't think Biden's a great debater, but I think that I expect this to be. I don't expect. I don't know. I honestly could only get halfway through the first one because it was too infuriating to me.
That's because you weren't watching my groundbreaking coverage. We
Clearly,
made
that is
it.
the
Yeah,
main problem.
exactly. That was
Well,
your
honestly,
fuck up.
I probably will watch it on your channel tonight.
I appreciate that, actually. I really do. I'm sure it'll be fun. I think that because optically speaking, most people aren't going to have their minds changed on policy issues at this point in time. But Biden's coming in with two really big advantages, and Trump's coming in with one. And the two advantages that Biden's coming in with is the mute system, because if Trump ever rages, like he's like got his hands up, but we can't hear him, that's amazing. That's
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that will happen almost certainly.
Yeah, I'm hoping for that.
And Biden has the Chinese bank account thing,
Yeah,
which will definitely come up.
no doubt.
Trump's potential benefit is the Hunter Biden laptop thing, but
Yeah.
because that's such fake news, it's possible it won't even get brought up by moderation, which means he'll shoehorn it in, and if he gets scolded for doing that, oh my god, it could be so amazing, you know?
Yeah, that I would. I hate to admit that maybe I don't hate to admit it. I just admit it that like the idea of Trump just any public failure or humiliation is just very 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 pleasurable to me.
Yeah, of course, fuck these people. These
Like,
people, in any proper society, all of these people would have been tried for war crimes or something a long time ago. We don't live in that society. I think we can gloat a little bit.
like he deserves to go down so hard.
He's probably going to get pardoned by Biden if Biden takes
Yeah,
office. Let's move on. Let us not, linger on this national travesty. I can't wait.
Can we linger on it a little bit?
Just slightly. I genuinely don't know what's going to happen with the election. I mean, there's still a decent shot Trump wins, and even if Biden wins, there's a decent shot that Trump contests it with the ACB that they rushed in. They get ballots lost in states, they bring it up to the Supreme Court, we get the whole fucking Bush v. Gore thing again.
Well, because I feel like Biden has to win by a lot, otherwise it's going to be a protracted disputed nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm also like, 2016, the trauma is still burned in. Like the polls, people were saying that Hillary was going to win, and then, so I'm not. I refuse to allow myself to be optimistic about this election. Basically, I know that things kind of look pretty good, but I'm afraid that Trump's gonna win, and if he does, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna have like a full-on, literally shaking meltdown if he wins.
Fair. Do you have any plans if he does win?
Get really drunk.
Do you have like a bunker you can retreat to?
No, not really. I mean, I think I don't know. Some people have plans to flee this country. I feel like I'm going down with the ship.
Yeah, it's a beautiful country, if you ignore all the ugly parts. You gotta stick through it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have the energy at this point. I guess I could I shouldn't say that. I'm a very privileged person, especially compared to many other trans people. I could leave probably if I needed to. But a lot of people can't leave, and I do have some sense of obligation, I guess, to stay and fight it out.
Go down with the ship?
Yeah.
As content creators, I think we do the exact same amount of good for America, whether or not we're technically within her borders. If you ever, I'm just saying, you don't have to commit. I'm just saying, if you ever want to go and form a bunker in the tundras of northern Canada, stockpile 60 or 70, guns, and just live 80 feet underground, using stolen satellite signals to stream and produce videos. I'm just saying, it's something we're open to. Other people can jump into.
I'll keep it in mind.
Yeah.
It's true that there's not any particular reason why I have to be in a cosmopolitan like American city. Like I could 100% be doing this from, yeah, like you say, a bunker, a trailer in the middle of the wilderness. So
Or you could do the movie thing. Do it from a train, you know, that just
yeah, yeah,
travels across the country nonstop, randomly bouncing between stations so they can never geolocate you.
yeah. It's a good
That'd be sick
idea.
as hell, actually, now that I think about it.
Or go to Moscow. I don't know if that's a good idea.
I think they're Trumpers over there for the most part.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess I was thinking of Snowden.
Yeah, I have a feeling that if Snowden had leaked in like 2017 or something like that,
Yeah,
he would have been
might not
garroted
be.
in Russia.
I think that's right. Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't know. It's
find a new country to flee to.
yeah, which countries? I hear New Zealand is beautiful this time of year.
People keep mentioning New Zealand. It's very far away,
Hmm? Have you
but
ever
it
been
is
to
pretty.
Australia?
Never. I'm actually very poorly traveled, which is weird. I know. At this point, like I have the income I could afford to travel. I couldn't when I was younger, which is why I never did. But now I guess I could. I don't know. For some reason, it hasn't occurred to me.
Yeah, it's well, of course now it's not really an option with coronavirus, but
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Yeah, New Zealand apparently got corona under wraps and they're just all pretty nice and progressive over there. Also, just recently their Labor Party had a blowout victory, like a real blowout victory. So apparently they're going to be getting some solid left-wing governance for a while. Could be fun, you know?
Yeah, like live like hobbits.
Yeah, exactly. You can keep the
That's my
underground
New
bunker
Zealand thing
but
to
make it
do.
aesthetic, you know?
Yeah, because that's what I would need. Like I feel like bunker is very much not my vibe. But if it's a hobbity bunker, I could entertain that.
Yeah, well, you can sitcom it. Tape down the middle, one half all
Yeah,
homey and hobbity, and the other half a utilitarian steel fortress with guns on the walls. And between the two, you
yeah.
survive.
Well, I like that idea of a hobbit hole with like this vault beneath it.
Yeah, it
Sort of cozy cottagecore aesthetic on the top, and then on the inside, like I don't know, Soviet wave.
it would have made the Hobbit trilogy way
Mhm.
better.
It would have honestly. I mean, almost anything would have. But yeah, I agree that like a kind of, you know, I don't know, post-nuclear setting would have really changed things up.
Can you imagine if that was like they went back, whole new thing, like original Peter Jackson trilogy, whatever, and it's like
Yeah.
the gang, the Lord of the Rings gang stumbles across like an old nuclear silo, and the meme is that all the
Incredible.
continents shifted after the war or whatever.
Incredible. That would be so
Unbelievable.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some Adventure
I
Time
mean,
shit or something.
go film it in Chernobyl.
Okay. Um so you're pretty caught on doomerism right now, right?
On doomerism?
Like not I don't mean that like negative. Well, wait, I do mean that negatively. I don't mean that like
Yeah.
in a derogatory way. But you seem slightly doomeresque at the moment.
I I'm a little bit doomerish, yeah. I mean, I guess I yeah, that would be fair to say. I feel pretty pessimistic about things. I but I also think like part of it is I'm frustrated because I feel like there's some things that could be achieved, but that's somehow keep not getting done.
Hmm.
Um, I
Like
don't know.
what?
I think like uh well, I'm so like bothered by how ineffective and inefficient and disorganized and like self-defeating the left is. Um,
Hmm.
it's like I feel like this is like a moment to rally and like we have a good chance of defeating Trump and starting from a much better position. I think under I mean like I said I think I wouldn't say that I'm doomerish about the election. Like I think there's a decent chance that Biden will win, and I really do believe like I'm not just I don't know, I'm not just trying to repackage like liberal bullshit for like a leftist audience. Like I actually do believe that like leftist organizing under Biden is going to be much superior
Hmm.
to under a
Oh,
second term of Trump.
oh yeah. Oh, 100%.
Like
Absolutely.
honestly, under Trump, I don't know if there's a limit to my doomerism. Like, is it even going to be legal to be a communist in this country in 3 years? Like, I don't know. Like, I I don't see why. I mean, look how like communists have fared under past fascist regimes. Like, not good, sweetie. Like, I don't see why people are more afraid of this.
You
I'm
familiar
very
with
afraid of
the
Trump. Yeah.
Legendary quote from Thurman, the head of the KDP, the German Communist Party, before Hitler took power. After Hitler took power,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, Hitler will have his time, and then,
Yeah.
yeah, we
Then
will
it's
have
our turn. Yeah,
ours.
there's not going to be another turn. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Trump is Hitler,
Solomon,
but I
sorry,
think
not
that,
Thurman. Yeah.
but he's too close for my comfort.
Well, one of the issues is I think a lot of lefties have bought Nazi propaganda, which is to their detriment.
Yeah.
The idea that
Yeah.
Nazis are intelligent, utilitarian, deadly, and precise, and they're not. Read a book. The Nazis back in the Weimar Republic were brutish, stupid, anti-scientific, hormonal, angry young men. Yeah, they were complete. They were high on meth. Hitler was notoriously lazy and ineffective. Almost everything he did fucked up. He had a cabinet that corrected most of his mistakes. He was obsessed with self-image. Everything about this is the idea. A lot of people say this. Trump can't be a fascist. He's just a doddering buffoon. Fascism is buffoonery.
Yes.
This isn't a defeater to the argument. And that buffoonery captures people's spirits in a way that is very difficult to oppose. Logical arguments can be taken apart logically. Brutish, stupid, blind patriotism, you have to breed that out. You have to wait for a generation to die almost to get rid of these people.
Well, and that's really, I mean, look, the resilience of Trump's fan base, it goes to show, like I really think that he could, I mean, the man said it himself, I could kill a man in the middle of Fifth Avenue and not lose a vote. I believe that now. Especially after seeing the denial about the coronavirus and the way that so obviously had a disastrous consequence on this country, and the way that he openly talks about not leaving if he wins and I don't think there's any point where Trump will cross some line and his follower and a significant portion of his following will be like, oh, I see that you're a monster now. I feel like he could do anything.
It'll never happen. No, they could literally get tapes of him at Epstein's Island, with children. It would not matter.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. The whole narrative would just shift somehow, and it's just very scary because it's I don't think there's a moral limit to what these people are capable of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Trump administration has actually moved me towards illiberalism to a large extent when it comes to electoral democracy. If you want democracy to survive, do you permit an anti-democratic party to run?
Yeah. No, I've had similar feelings where the idea that these ideas, these norms of reciprocity and not being a hypocrite or taking the high road and stuff, all of this, it's over. The time for that is well over. And so when it comes to things yes, we absolutely should, I don't know, get a left-wing person on, increase the number of judges on the Supreme Court. Go for it. Make DC a state, make Puerto Rico a state, make Guam a state. Who cares? These people are hypocrites. They have no respect whatsoever. I mean, look at the Supreme Court. The way that they, for the last year of Obama's presidency,
shamelessly, no concern. Yeah.
And they're just now of course we're going to immediately nominate someone, you idiots.
Yeah. And they're consistent. Their goal is power, and that's all they care about, and they do it. Their goal is consistent. They're not inconsistent in the slightest. They're liars, but they're not inconsistent. The Republicans.
Yeah. So I do think
Oh no, I agree.
Yeah, it's time to act like that ourselves to some extent. You know what I mean?
They always say if you do X, then the Republicans will do X. When have we ever done X first? When has the left ever initiated the uncivil behavior at any point in American history? We are always on the back foot. And the problem with this is, functionally, democracy only works with a series of gentlemen's agreements. It has to. If you don't have that, there will always be a way for the seated party to do something to mess up the opposite party's chances of winning. Always. Yeah. You can't fix that. There's no system that can prevent that from happening. The only thing you can do is once you recognize a bad actor, you weed it out. Much in the same way as if you're playing a sports ball game, If you're playing a sports ball game and you can't oust anyone, then functionally, a person can behave as poorly as they want without any risk of meaningful consequence. You can get carded all you want, but ousting is the only thing that functionally fixes the problem. And with the Republican Party, I think we've arrived now at the point where if they've broken every gentleman's agreement, if they have no intention of supporting democracy as a concept, The only way forward for this country is the complete dissolution of them as an entity, as a power base.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true, especially under Trump. Like these people, like the idea that, oh, if we do X, the Republicans will do X. The Republicans will do X. Like, period. So what are we going to do about that? Like that's the question. Not it's and like I hope at some point in the future we're able to have a political system where you can reintroduce these norms and expect people to behave, with reciprocity in mind. But it's obvious that we have a party in power now that has no interest whatsoever in that kind of norm. So yeah, I think it's kind of like the time for that kind of negotiating and cooperating is over.
At this point, oh, sorry.
I'd like to see the Democratic Party become a little bit more ruthless.
If there were more progressives in there would be. They actually care about representing the folks.
I know.
We're at the point now where the greatest threat to democracy is not ousting a political party, it's allowing ourselves to be ousted by them. And I think that I know I'd rather be on the winning side in that altercation. It's just a matter of how well can the Democrats actually follow through on that, or are they just going to let themselves be bowled over in 2024, 2028, and then that fascist, whoever that may be, Tom Cotton, Tucker Carlson, whatever, is going to be infinitely worse than Trump, and we just repeat the cycle until there's no longer an election, and we just go, okay, well, we lost our chance.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm afraid of. I don't know how to, like, because when Biden wins, the other issue is that, like, if Biden wins, Trump's not going away. These people aren't going away. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do about it. Like, I mean, these people aren't going away regardless. If there's a revolution, these people aren't going away. So, like, what to do with these people, I don't know. I mean, I expect that if Trump is no longer in power, which we're going to have on our hands is like something sort of resembling the Tea Party movement, but much worse.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, it's QAnon. It's already, all the pieces are together. It's already in motion. Yeah. They already think that if Trump loses, it's the deep state, and they orchestrated some nefarious blood libel, whatever, to oust him, and that the global cabal of Satanist pedophile Jews have to be defeated in a glorious final confrontation between the godly forces of good and the satanic force. It's all set up. These people, if Trump loses, these people will be killing in the streets. So I strongly suggest everyone who's watching around election day, stay the fuck inside and buy guns. I know that sounds hyperbolic. There's going to be violence no matter who wins, frankly, but
it doesn't sound hyperbolic to me. And there was a time I thought that kind of talk was crazy, but honestly, like, stock up now before the Costco gets like overrun. You know what I mean? Like, I've had that thought myself. Like, what happened? Like, election day is going to be madness, regardless, and it's better to have, like, get your toilet paper while you can. Like, I really think that. Between that and the fact that it's likely that coronavirus is going to get worse this winter, they now know, I mean, it spreads faster in dry air, so it's likely to be more contagious in the winter. So, wow, I'm really talking myself into a doom spiral.
No. Well, hold on. No, we'll be fine. We're influencers, okay? We can stay inside and cover things as they happen live.
It's true.
We don't have to go outside. We're quite lucky. Now, if you're watching, you're free to feel doomer if you would like to. But I think it's important to remember that historically speaking, fascism, by way of being a death cult, has always led in the ultimate destruction of its own aims. No matter how powerful Trump gets, no matter how powerful the Republican gets, the majority of this country is not on their side. The majority of this country, even if they're disaffected non-voters who aren't participating in the election, are far more likely to hold progressive views. And every subsequent generation is more and more Democrat, more and more progressive. Time is on our side. And in many ways, this is kind of a last gasp for the Republican Party. They're going all in on fascism, all in on Trump. So even if things look really, really bad now, worst case scenario, a third of us die, and in 20 years, America gets invaded by a united coalition of international forces, and we pick the pieces up together, okay? That's worst case. But it's not the end of the world until climate change, at which point it will be. There.
I do think that, like, one positive almost of this is that the Republicans have been, especially when you start introducing the QAnon stuff, like this satanic pedophile cult, like, it's so coconuts as to become dysfunctional. And like you can't be going to work and talking about satanic pedophiles. Everyone else thinks you're a lunatic. Like it's so I do think these people will kind of destroy themselves if they keep it up.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, could you do me a favor, by the way? You're on Discord, right? Wait, of course you are. We're talking on Discord. In the little bottom left corner, there's a little series of vertical lines that's called noise suppression. Do you have that thing on currently?
Let me see. Hold on.
Click on it, and then there'll be a little slider.
I have to go to the settings, right?
No, it's just in the bottom left. It should say video connected. It's in its own thing, like video screen, and then it has the little noise suppression vertical lines next to the disconnect call button.
Okay, I see mute. I see disconnect. Oh, I see noise suppression. Yeah.
And click that, and then do you have it turned on?
It's on. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, just making sure. There's a little bit of static coming from your end, but it's not a big deal.
Okay. And try to move the mic away from the technology.
No, it ain't a big deal. Just checking. Oh, you're so off to the side now. Let me adjust the camera. But anyway,
I haven't been looking at the chat at all. I'll usually look at the chat when I'm on stream.
Gotcha.
How's the chat?
The chat is happy to have you here. I mean, do you think you're going to get any negative reception from my audience?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. We
Hi
are,
guys.
Yeah, pretty avowedly in favor. Yeah, there they are. They're popping off now. We're pretty avowedly in favor of you and what you do. I'm sorry that there aren't. I mean, hold on, wait. You are the largest bread tuber, so you do have a large base of support, but you also have such an incredibly dedicated anti-fan base. It's extraordinary. Though I have to say, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think at this point I might now get more hate than you. I might have grown into those shoes.
I actually don't know. I haven't. Someone would have to do a quantitative study.
I would love to see analysis of that. Yeah.
Analysis of the hate bread tubers receive. I think that the two of us are honestly competing for like most hated.
Yeah, we're very powerful. We occupy a lot of space in other people's minds.
Yeah, a lot of space and a lot of time. It's honestly kind of fascinating. Like I think that like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I have a grip on like some of the reasons why people hate me. But sometimes, like, I don't know, if you Google if you like do a Twitter search for just the word Contrapoints at like any hour of any day, like there's never not someone in the middle of a frothing tirade.
Yeah.
Including like at times when I've like not posted in weeks.
The online left is so dysfunctional.
That. Yeah.
It sounds conceited, you know, like, oh, people don't like me. Must be a systemic issue with the left. But, like, really, though, the right doesn't do this, you know? Like, I'll give you an example. There are a lot of neo-Nazis I sort of tepidly follow online, keep tabs on. And amongst them, even the very popular ones, it's known. Vote for Trump. Sure, he's cucked by the Jews. Sure, he's a Zionist plant, you know? Sure, whatever, you know, sure, he went too easy on BLM, but it's obviously the right choice. We prefer it to Biden. No pushback on this. No pushback. Easiest decision for these people. For the left, for the leftists, this is somehow difficult. This is like a real problem for them.
Yeah. Well, there's this strain, I don't know what it is exactly. There's this strain of like, I almost want to call it like hyper-moralism on the left, where it's like, this because you sort of get in the I think people who are entrenched to leftist politics are people who on some level like they want to improve the world and they have strong moral convictions about how to do that, but there comes a point where like I mean people call it like purity. I don't know if that's what it is exactly. Sometimes it's maybe pure moral purity, but there becomes a kind of fanaticism of
orthodoxy,
and just like internal policing of the most minute things, and it's to the point where it's like you lose sight of a big picture when you're so focused on like these little micro moral issues, or even just like you have the incredible resistance to voting for a candidate who we don't like but who's obviously better than the other one. It just strikes me as like people are not thinking in terms of you know likely effects of their actions. They seem to have a moral thought that comes from some other like longing.
The real thing that bothers me is earlier you described them as like a rapture fanaticists, which I think is
Yeah.
accurate. The issue is actual rapture fanaticists are still planted firmly enough in the dirt that they vote Republican, even when those Republicans don't get anti-abortion laws passed through, that they
Right.
go out there and they advocate and they donate their money to these candidates, even though Republican candidates are all having mistresses and fourth and fifth wives. They don't care because in the long
Yeah.
run, and they're correct, it serves their interests to have these people in power. But we're worse than evangelicists. We're worse than, evangelicals. We're worse than them. We don't even do that. We can't even project our fantasy desires in a slightly pragmatic way. And I think, and this is my secret suspicion, I think that's because evangelicals do believe in the rapture, but Twitter leftist ML types, they don't believe in the revolution.
Yeah.
It's an aesthetic to them that they use to find friends online and to make jokes about, but personally, privately, they don't think it's ever going to happen. And for that reason, they don't
have
feel
any intention of participating.
yeah, they don't feel it's not a true belief to them. And for that reason, they have no obligation to pragmatism. It's a kink, it's an aesthetic flourish, it's a hat. And that's it.
What do you think about like so there's another version because like I agree that there's like this is like pretty useless. There's like the useless revolutionary ideation where you're not doing anything, you're just kind of have this aesthetic of or you sort of imagine yourself, I don't know, carrying the hammer and sickle over the White House lawn. It is a fun thought. You know, but then there's also like this like accelerationist stuff where it's like, oh, actually, we want Trump to be president. We want things to get worse. We want things to be as bad as possible so that the revolution happens. And
these people are counter-revolutionary.
It's a deranged like gamble with the lives of the most vulnerable people in this country. Is how it seems to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it also like I also don't think that's correct. Like, is a socialist revolution more likely to happen under fascism? Is there any evidence historically to support that?
The idea of accelerationism has been corrupted massively.
Yeah.
Economic accelerationism, like striking, is phenomenal, incredibly useful. Worker solidarity, great. Political accelerationism, however, is counter-revolutionary. Vladimir Lenin worked within electoral politics and even allied with liberals whenever it was expedient for him to help beat back conservatives, monarchists, and fascists. Mao Zedong would work with bourgeois liberals in the Chinese countryside if it meant being able to fight off colonial oppressors. At every point in history, successful leftist revolutionaries have known there is a thing worse than liberalism. It is to the right of liberalism, it is fascism, it is monarchism, it is colonialism, and that under those conditions, socialism is far harder to fight for. So we preserve bourgeois liberalism because we must set up our own enemy. It's in the writing. Like these people, they say, read theory. I read the theory. It's all right there.
Yeah, so like, where is this notion coming from that we need to like that it's better to have a fascist in power so that people, well, I don't know, people seem to have this idea that like, oh, one thing that's really exciting about Trump being president is that now people are politically engaged. Like, I think that's an idea that I see floated a lot, like often in conjunction with the idea that oh, like liberals only care when Trump is president, and liberals will go to sleep if Biden's president. But what I don't understand about this is like liberals are not calling for revolution, not even under Trump, right? Not a socialist revolution, or they wouldn't be liberals.
Yeah. Hey, right. Why did Bernie Sanders get more support in 2016 than he did in 2020? Why didn't 4 years of Trump make Democrats more amicable towards socialism?
I think I heard you made this point on another stream, which is that like what you're seeing is like a wave of liberals very enthusiastically demanding anyone but Trump, which they will happily vote for Biden. They'll happily vote for someone worse than Biden. I would vote for someone worse than Biden to get Trump out.
Yeah, Bloomberg is infinitely preferable to Trump still, even though he's a fucking monster. He's still better than what Trump represents.
Yeah, like so I think that I don't think that what you're seeing under Trump, I don't think the unrest that you're seeing is like socialist unrest. It's like anti-Trump unrest, anti-fascist unrest. But I don't think that's the same as like, I don't think that's getting you a more leftist politics.
Yeah, it's material.
Like people seem to think it is.
It's material conditions. It's simple Marxist math. People will act in ways which they are believe best represent their own interests. When you believe
Right.
you're on the precipice of fascism, your goal is to prevent that at any cost, not to take a risk on a more radical left-leaning ideology. The main reason people voted for Biden was for electability. That was the main reason people voted Biden. There were polls. It was more than 50%. People get woken up, sure, but not to the ends we want. We want people to wake up because they're disillusioned with the Democrats, not terrified of the Republicans. Terror of the Republicans drives people into Pelosi's bosom. We want people who were disappointed under Obama, who campaigned for Obama, but are now disappointed with him, turning towards more radical solutions. That is what we want. But we can't do that if the source of all of these issues, at least optically, is Trump. We can't make that argument.
Yeah, I tweeted the other day something along the lines of like, oh, you know, it was under, you know, people think that, oh, we'll just go back to sleep under Biden. People didn't go to sleep under Obama. Like, it was Obama that gave us the Bernie Sanders movie. It was Obama's administration and people's disillusionment with that. They gave us like Occupy Wall Street and which is arguably the beginning of what is like today's leftist movement. And I know people say like, oh, well, Occupy Wall Street didn't do anything. It's like, well, it's a far left protest movement. Like it's done as much as any of those have in recent years in this country. And like the point is still that it's like we don't really have an equivalent of Occupy Wall Street under Trump. What we have is massive unrest about the brutal policing. But like I don't know. I just feel like there's a strange conflation of the unrest that is sort of distinctive to the Trump years and like leftist involvement.
Protests function best when you can chant the phrase, "You failed us." But nobody ever expected Trump to go up to bat for workers. So these protests ring hollow under Trump.
Right.
Obama at least made some weak gesturing at equality. Whatever. I don't like Obama, but I think ultimately what you deal with here, and this is the ultimate problem, is that a lot of the people who are these crazy online anti-electoralists today weren't politically active during the Obama years. These people got into politics in 2016, so their perspective is warped. To them, everything pre-2016 is the exact same expanse of neoliberal nothingness, and now suddenly politics and history begins. But that is not how that works. So, yeah, it's very frustrating. I feel like it's such a juvenile perspective, but the people who encourage this, the content creators, are older than me. So, like, where is that coming from?
They began political consciousness in 2016, so they assume everyone else did.
Oh, I would say so. The content creators or the people watching?
Yeah, the content creators.
I think that what I'm throwing shade on Chapo Trap House here. They've been politically active for a long time, but they certainly fucking act like they achieved political consciousness back in 2016. I just don't know. The only thing I can think to be done about this is that we have to bully these people. Like, we have to bully the shit out of these people. Yeah. They think it's really cool to be doomer, edgy, contrarians. We need to, and we have a lot of people who follow us. You are a very large channel. I'm getting there. Come on. And
the two of us are on the same page about the anti-doomer, edgy contrarianism because it's so useless.
I don't want to be the smuggest guy in the mass grave. I don't care. That's not fun to me. That's not socialism to me.
Yeah, well, I think that's like, I think that is like part of the issue that I do feel myself where I'm sort of not communicating with some people online is like I really do care and want things to get better, and I'm willing to do anything that I feel like I can to help things get better. Some people involved in this conversation, including some people very high profile involved in this conversation, I get this sense that what they want to do is be right publicly. And they want to be the one to spot what's wrong with everything, right? Including what's wrong with the candidate. They want to be sort of above it all, but being above it all is like that's not politics.
No, it's not. Politics is getting your hands dirty.
With like leftist veneer.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I completely agree. You can't. Distancing yourself from political outcomes, is the opposite of good politics. You want to be invested in what happens, and that means championing people you don't like at times. The investment is what keeps you connected to the whole process.
Isn't all politics like less? Like people say, like, oh, no more lesser evilism, but like all politics is lesser evilism.
That's all ethics.
Yeah, like I'm sorry to tell to break it to people, but even if you get your socialist state, like you're gonna have your socialist leaders who suck, also. Like because people suck, right? There's never gonna come a time
People don't.
when the
This is
lead, yeah,
internally contradictory. Bernie
yeah,
Sanders proposes social democracy. Social Democrats are historically enemies of the revolution because they attempt to placate the proletariat with concessions from the bourgeois. If these people had any consistency, they would have said, I'm not voting for Bernie Sanders. He represents lesser evilism. I will not vote for somebody unless they are a true Marxist-Leninist like me. But
right.
they were willing to vote for Bernie Sanders, not because they have consistent principles, but because they liked him and they don't like Biden. But that, liking something, is not an ethical judgment. That is a judgment of personal aesthetic preference.
Well, that's what I mean when I say I feel that people sometimes want to be sort of expressing their like personal like political style or something when they choose a candidate. That sort of Bernie represents is like sort of represents to be sort of in an expression of their political style. Even though, like you say, it is odd when these people, especially when they claim to be socialists or communists or anarchists, are saying like, oh, like I'm not going to participate in bourgeois electoralism for Biden, but they would for Bernie, as if Bernie isn't also like a social democrat, like liberal, like because he
Lenin would have
is,
called Bernie Sanders a traitor to the revolution. And Lenin
right?
also would have advocated his followers support Bernie Sanders if it was preferable to a comparable right-wing alternative. But Lenin would have called him a traitor to the revolution. So by
And
what
like
standard are we determining who's viable, you know?
I feel nervous, like publicly saying, like, "Oh, you realize that Bernie Sanders is not a communist, right? You realize that this is also a liberal." Because I know that some people will actually hear. I actually remember, like, a few, last year, hearing some people say that they wouldn't even vote for Bernie because, oh, he's a lib,
At
and
least
they don't
that's
want.
consistent. It's
Yeah,
stupid, but
that's
at least it's
consistent, right?
consistent.
It's stupid, but it's consistent. But yeah, there's more and more. It's the Bernie or bust people will often say like, "Oh, I want socialism," but they would have voted for Bernie and they wouldn't have voted for Biden. Even though I don't think anyone thinks that America would be a socialist country in 4 years if Bernie was president. Does anyone think that?
I imagine some of them probably did. To be fair, a lot of these people probably unironically think that socialism is when you have a social democracy, the government owns the trains, and the flag is red. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I I mean, that's the limit for a lot of people. Like when I argue with some people, and their conceptualization of socialism is at once completely utopian, but on the other hand, no different from like modern day Finland. And I have no idea
Right.
what theoretical perspective these people are coming from, you know?
Well, I think it's probably little bits of ideas picked up here and there, which is I mean fair enough. That's what most I don't think most people have a very consistent political worldview. I mean, I don't think I even have necessarily a totally consistent political worldview. Like I say, I think of myself as being fairly pragmatic, where I don't know. I think of myself. I do tend to think of like, when I imagine America being a much better country than it currently is, I imagine it sort of resembling Finland or whatever.
Hmm.
But I don't necessarily think that's the end of history. I don't necessarily think that's the ideal. I just think like a lot of that type of reform would be really, really good for this country.
Oh yeah, I mean, people say like, well, you would just want a social democracy. Well, those social democracies have much stronger union and left-wing movements
Yeah.
than America does.
It's
So,
how
God, it's a
much
step in
better,
the right
how
direction.
much better real social democracy would be than what we currently have.
Yeah. Now, I do warn against people who think that's the
Yeah.
end goal, because
Sure.
there are higher ideological problems with capitalism that can't be solved even with the most equitable distribution of wealth.
Mhm.
And I would encourage people always to be critical of that. But if people's concerns about the perpetuation of capitalism are so severe that it's preventing them from walking in the correct direction,
Yeah.
then clearly we've taken a step too far. We have to walk over the thorny bramble patch before we can get to the glorious green hills of socialism. But if you never walk through the damn patch, you just stay where you are.
Yeah, I think that's the point where it's too much theory, is where you're saying like I won't lift a finger to change this country because nothing I can do right now will bring about the socialist utopia.
I'm relatively confident that, at least for people like Lenin, if they saw how State and Revolution and all the other theory crap people read were being used to argue against the idea of progress, he would probably have all of his writings burned. That man was very, very pragmatic, sometimes to a
Yeah.
fault. The idea that people are now using theory to justify not acting in favor of the conclusions the theory argues for is really, really weird. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I think how do we get to this point?
This point in the conversation, or
No,
this point?
and like we're at this point in like the left where people are this like committed to inaction.
I mean, if I had to take an honest guess, I would probably say because America hasn't had a real left movement for a long time, we don't have a strong practical tradition to call upon. We have an intellectual tradition, but intellectual traditions are nothing without proper analysis, and that analysis takes precedent. And with no precedent, you just have people who are left alone in a room with sort of vague half understandings of ideas. And that, I guess, has led people down very unpragmatic roads. I don't know. It's really bad, though. Like, legitimately, like, we can't do anything in this country until we start to fix that.
I guess I should acknowledge that some of these people probably, I'm sure some, not all of these people are just like do nothing overly online, like, you know, smug, disillusioned leftists. Like, I'm sure like some people actually do get involved in like local organizing, and I do think that's good. Like, I don't know, I don't want to give the impression that I really am someone who thinks that, oh, voting is the only thing to do. Like, sure, like there's other valid ways to be a leftist, but I just feel like a lot of what I see on the internet is not that.
Yeah. I think we need to turn inward after this election a little bit. We're not going to be able to make a difference unless the left, online and in person, is a little more cohesive, a little more energized, a little more pragmatic than it currently is. And I think that means we need to sort of pick up the pieces that have been broken apart by all of these pseudo-intellectual doomer grifts, where people are more engaged in the aesthetic presentation of socialism than they are in actually building it. I'm not expecting you to go ahead and make 27 videos on the infantile left com or anything like that. But man, we really are our own worst enemy, dude. When I get hate from the right, and I get a lot of hate from the right, like a lot. I have captured the spirit of the American Nazis. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about these people. But when
it's almost fun to have Nazis mad at you.
Yeah, it's like
I did good.
Babies.
If these people are mad at me, yeah.
Yeah. But with the left, when they're mad at me, it's just kind of sad. Like, damn, you don't know a single fucking thing I believe in, but you are obsessed with disliking me based on some preconceptions that you've had force-fed to you by other people. What do we do?
It's something that has just really like plagued my existence online for 3 years. Is this more than 3 years at this point? Is having this just incredibly loud contingent of people who is absolutely convinced that I'm like the Antichrist disguised as a leftist to lead people astray. And you're right, it hurts. It's painful and sad, and it's very counterproductive, and so much time is wasted on it. And I am guilty of this too, in that I am too obsessed with these people. Why am I so obsessed with what Tabby thinks? I know on some level that this is a waste of my time. I think honestly I need to let it take up less space in my head than it does.
Maybe. I mean, from a self-care perspective, possibly. Yeah. But there's no denying these people are influential. I used to think it was just a woke scold thing. When you and I last talked, when I was a third the size I am now, I thought it was just woke scolds, you know, little Tumblr babies so offended by us occasionally being edgy, whatever. But now I realize these same ideological tendencies are expressed even in the far left, more orthodox segments of our community.
Yeah.
The same petulant smugness, the same obsession with building a social group over a social movement, the same obsession with performatively condemning people who are bigger than you because you get, I don't know, woke points from it. The exact same tendencies. It's everywhere. And
Thank you for saying that, because
yeah,
I hate the idea that this is only confined to like the id pol like social justice warrior left, because it's not.
not even close. I have gotten
Yeah,
more hate online from lefties by insisting we should
yeah,
vote for Biden than I ever did for
yeah.
every combined anti-idpol whatever meme that was ever made about me. Like, easily, the Biden thing has consolidated more hatred than everything else combined, and that is unbelievable to me.
I should have paid more attention to what people were saying about you before I made that video, because I was like a little unprepared for it, for like the level of hate the Biden thing was going to get me.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, these people are going to be fucking irrelevant in just a couple of weeks. All these Bernie or Busters are going right down the trash can. All of their vague anti-left, both sides of the same bullshit is going to ring a hell of a lot less true after the results of this election, no matter which way it goes. And I want nothing to do with these people after it's done. These people have done nothing but harm online discourse. They are not my comrades. They have not done anything to meaningfully advance a progressive or socialist agenda. I cannot wait for them to lose relevance.
Well, at least the argument will lose relevance, I think.
Hopefully.
And then we can all go back to trashing Biden.
Yeah, as we should. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
To
as we
bully
should.
Biden,
Yeah.
That's the whole point of this whole damn thing. You choose your enemy, yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to get to work crashing Biden. It sounds so good compared to what we're dealing with now.
Do you think that the Bernie or Bust left online today is going to do what the Republican Party has done with Hillary Clinton, where they just obsess over this election as some sort of like flashpoint for a corrupt candidate? Like the way the Republican Party is still fighting against Hillary, they're shadowboxing 4 years later. They're going to keep doing this with the Bernie or Bust thing.
I can imagine it.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I actually can't believe we've been speaking for nearly 2 hours. That's insane to me. I really do appreciate you talking with me. I'm not ushering you off right now. I'm just saying I do appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me on, and like I've been watching your videos a lot lately. Like it's like honestly very refreshing to me to have like someone else like talking directly about leftist politics on here. That I find I'm just kind of a fan of this channel.
Hey, you know what? The feeling is mutual, Natalie. I've been a fan of yours for a while too. I'm happy to hear that. Can I? Oh, sorry.
Say your thing.
I just want to say, if there's one concern I have about broader bread troop, I know that I have contentious relationships with almost every major figure of the left online, so I'm not here to barter with that or anything. But when it comes to other major bread tubers, you can have your philosophy tube, your H-bomber guy, your Lindsay. Love their content, absolutely. But I feel like we've all collectively been a little bit scared of the communities that we formed. And by we, I mean everyone except for me, because I argue with everyone relentlessly, and I'm proud of it. But I know, for example, like Ollie, Philosophy Tube, I am utterly confident this person is reasonable and intelligent, and no doubt shares many of the concerns I do with the left. But I am concerned that there is an incentive now to not talk about it, because whether we're talking about the ML, Bernie or Bust types, or like the very sensitive performative woke school types, there is a severe social consequence to calling out problems in your own community. It's why the right never does it. The right never does it, because the right doesn't care. Neo-Nazis in your skeptic community, whatever. I don't see it. It's not happening. But holding us to a slightly better standard, I hope that in the future, we can all be a little more comfortable maintaining a standard of discourse within our own audiences that maybe makes it a little less okay to be as aggressively counterproductive as a lot of these people are.
I hope so too. I mean, I will not speak for anyone else as far as how they relate to this community, but I will say for myself that I often am. Yeah, I mean, I'm often afraid to say much of anything at all, to be honest, just because of the stress that is, like the consequences that you have to, like the days of discourse that unfold every time I say anything. But yeah, it's especially made me wary of like criticizing these elements, I think, within like leftist movement. But I guess I don't know. I feel like I actually kind of have several times, going back to the original like Tabby video in the first place, spoken up about trends within like leftist communities that I think are like deeply counterproductive. But yeah, I wish it were just
No,
easier to
you
talk
have
about
been.
this
You've
stuff.
been good
Yeah,
about that. Better than
yeah,
in my opinion,
yeah.
personally, any of your contemporaries, I think. Maybe because you've just embraced the knowledge that you're always going to be permanently canceled, or maybe
Well, I paid a price for it.
right.
There's a reason other people don't do it because it sucks. Um, and like I think that I just wish it were easier to talk about these things without like things devolving into just like this like dualism of like either you're good or you're bad, and like if you punch left or whatever, you're bad. Like I don't know. I kind of regret the lack of ability, like a lack of space to have like real conversations with people. Instead, everyone's kind of like hiding behind their own accounts,
Hmm.
afraid to really like. It's like I won't even publicly disagree with other leftist figures most of the time because even if this is someone I have a relationship with and could totally have a disagreement offline, like if you have it in public, like people think it's a feud.
Yeah, it's a really difficult, I guess, tightrope to walk.
Yeah, I
I
think you're totally right that there's a lot of like there's an immense amount of frustration with exactly this type of thing that people just don't publicly talk about.
I have oh, I don't doubt it. I imagine it must be enormously
Yeah.
frustrating. For the past couple of months, maybe just a month, I've done something called the Come Pledge. I don't know if you've heard if this has caught wind to you, but it's
It sounds vaguely familiar.
yes, the Come Pledge. It's CUM. C stands for Don't Argue with Leftists Online. U stands for Get More Sleep. M stands for Don't Get Mad Online. And right, exactly. I know, rolls off the tongue. And the reason I've done this is because I like consolidating where the hatred towards me comes from at any given point. We're in election season. I want the hate to come at me from the right. Please, God, let it come from the right. And when it comes from the left, it muddles things up, and I feel like I have to juggle like two basketballs or whatever the saying goes, and it's enormously frustrating when you see things that you feel should be called out, but you understand as a content creator there are very strong optical reasons why you shouldn't do that. And I think at the end of the day, it'll be easier for all of us when we just make it less cool to be that way, I guess. If we're all a little bit more confident in disavowing these elements of our community, they have fewer and fewer walls to hide behind. And it's not a matter of like challenging them directly, but eventually more of them will go like, okay, well, I'll move along with the crowd, because that's what this always is determined by, you know?
Well, it definitely helps to have some kind of solidarity. Like honestly, just like being able to go on another channel and like have this conversation is like it's much better than feeling like I'm like alone out there on Twitter and I have all these people like you know what I mean? And sometimes I don't know what other people are thinking about me. Like I don't know. Like am I ruining the left or whatever? Like, like it's like helpful to like have other people who have a perspective because like I think your perspective is different from mine in a lot of ways. But like to be able to like find agreement about like this like there's this like phenomenon whatever it is like that we're complaining about that's going on that's clearly damaging, like to be able to at least discuss that or to identify it as a problem, like and it's helpful to have a conversation instead of a monologue about it, because also it sounds too much like I'm just if I try to talk about it alone it also sounds like I'm just whining about me getting hate when that's like not necessarily what the issue is.
Yeah, that's not the crux of it at all.
Yeah.
For it's more the overwhelming feeling of despair that your political contemporaries have grabbed you by the shoulder and are sprinting towards a cliffside
Yeah.
as quickly as they can, and they're doing this to a lot of other people too, and they're gonna go with you, and you have no idea what to do about it or how the fuck to stop it. Well, I'll make it publicly known if there are any prominent or non-prominent content creators who want to work on improving the left. I'll always support you, even if I disagree with you. I think it's very important to do this. And by improving the left, I mean making it more fucking pragmatic, not like making everyone an ML or some dumb shit like that. Not spreading the good word of Maoism. You goddamn know what I mean. I know these people care about it. I know for a fact, because again, I'm not speaking with any kind of crazy insider knowledge here. Nobody talks to me about anything, you know? But when it comes to Sean, H. Bomber Guy, Lindsay, whatever, I know there are consequences to being large content creators. I know it can be frustrating and stressful, especially when you do political content, but you do it in a very measured way. Because when you do it in a measured way, you have to clean up all the little bits. You have to sand down the edges of your perspective that can be potentially damaging or harmful or optically tentative. And that process is exhausting. And they can keep it up, and I respect them for keeping up. But if they ever want to talk about that to you or me or anyone, I praise them for doing so, because it is so important that people do that.
Well, I find I often will talk privately with other creators about the frustrations of you know, making content in this environment where you're sort of, I don't know, you feel constantly under siege from all these different directions. Like, I think it's something that everyone who does this is under an immense amount of pressure, and it becomes like everyone is dealing with it. Absolutely. I think that most people don't talk about it in public, and it's hard to talk about it in public, and you're not really rewarded for talking about it in public.
Not at
but
all.
it is worth at least reaching out to other creators to discuss this kind of stuff, because you're going to burn out fast if you don't have at least the solidarity in that.
Yeah. It's rough out there for us multi-millionaire YouTube superstars.
It's hard being it's hard being rich and famous. It's very hard being successful. I can't stand it. Yeah, being an influencer, it's the hardest job in America.
What do you want to do with the future of your content? Because you've talked before about how the political stuff has worn somewhat. Now, a lot of people talk about how if Biden wins, the libs will go back to sleep. Natalie, if Biden wins, are you going to go take a nap? Are you going to make makeup tutorials and what have you?
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, what I'm going to do is I'm going to respond to with the next direction that the internet political discourse takes. I mean, because I tend to be someone who, like, I sort of react, I guess, to the movements that are going on around me. So, I mean, sure, if everyone goes to sleep, I'll make videos about the fact that everyone has gone to sleep. I don't think that's what's going to happen, though.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's going to go to sleep. And I'm not going to go to sleep either, right? This does not stop because why does everyone think this is going to stop? Because if Trump is not president, I don't know. It's just strange. I think it's just bizarre.
They haven't read enough Marx. That's the problem.
Clearly.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Actually, material conditions. Why would the wheel of history stop turning because of who wins the presidential election? Like, do they think that like neoliberalism is like a magical political ideology that can halt the clock and keep things from advancing? That's not true. Don't give them that power.
I think a lot of people do like subconsciously believe that. I mean, it's like a very like Fukuyama-ish thought, right? Like people sort of somehow suspect that like neoliberal capitalism is like the default state of being, and that at any moment we could just return to that, go back to rest at that default.
Yeah. Turns out the capitalist realism was coming from within the lefties the whole time.
I think there's some of that, yeah. I think that it is that the capitalist realist sentiment or style of perception is not something that goes away just because you become a leftist.
Yeah. That is true. Yeah. Being a leftist does not make you a good person. Doing good things makes you a good person. There are a lot of lefties who are despicable people. Yeah, but they hide behind it, you know? Same, a lot of people think being like queer makes you a good person, which is dumb, of course. It's a very weird pedestal to put people on, or being pro-LGBT. It's not. Only actions, I mean, in my humble opinion, dictate your, I guess, moral worth. And if you're a leftist in name and in practice, you are a dipshit who smokes weed literally every day of your life, listens to podcasts, and never goes outside. You're functionally no different. Actually, you're quite a bit worse than a K-Hive member. At least they go out and vote. They're actually doing something.
Yeah,
you know,
they're doing something. They're doing one thing.
Yeah, you're getting fucking owned by like Hillary Clinton supporters if you don't do anything. Like if you're a lefty just sitting at home, you're getting styled on by these people. It's can you imagine? Honestly, you'd think you'd want to pass that bar, but no, I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, working on the Obama campaign, like you would meet just the most devoted people who, often like they they were secretaries, they worked at a car shop or whatever, but like they really really cared, and they would go out and knock on doors on their free time, get for no pay. Like they were really involved in a way that, like, I don't know, the podcast left is not, alas.
Yeah. Oh, hey, H
Some
Bomber
people
Guy
are, some
in
people are, some
chat.
people are, but no.
I enjoyed your most recent video. Thank you. Yeah, no, I completely agree. I guess I don't know how much there is to be done about it. I don't know if we have some sort of pathological aversion to pragmatism as a political ideology. We do now. We used to not. If you actually read up on the history of anarchists and socialists and union organizers back 100 years ago in this country, these people were fucking brutal. These people were like, you know, like on the ground out there every single day doing whatever they could, legal or illegal, to get their message out there. And nowadays, I don't know, it's like you know the meme? You've got like a big muscular dog, and then you've got like a less muscular kind of silly looking dog, and that's the meme? That's what we're talking about right now. We're the silly dog. Who's still a good boy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Another thing that would be interesting is it would be interesting to see if we could, because we have we've built this incredible network of communication on, through the podcast, through the YouTube, through, Discord, all these groups. Like, I feel like there's not a lot of crossover from that into like I don't know, on the ground, like political activism or organizing. I don't know what the potential for that is, or like what that would look like, but it seems to me kind of crazy that we don't do more of that.
Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing what we can do to develop a stronger apparatus for organizing. One benefit of being a leftist is that we can operate with less of a mask than the far right has to.
Right.
If you're a neo-Nazi, there are a lot of necessary constrictions on your ability to organize just because you're such an optics nightmare. But if you're a socialist, I mean, it's not easy, but it's not as hard. One thing that I really look forward to, this is like a dream that I have, maybe it's Libby, I don't know, some people say, is I make a decent amount streaming. I package that all up. I make a pack, 2022, 2024, and I go along with Justice STEM recommendations, and I try to pump, there are a couple of purple district candidates who maybe they could use like a good boost, a progressive against an incumbent Republican, give them 100,000 or something like that. And I imagine, like, I know the left is capable of making waves like that. We just have to do it. I don't know if that's too lib shit for some people, but it's something I think about a lot.
It is lib shit for some people, but so what? Like some lib shit is effective, so we should do it. Like, I think that I don't know. Like I was earlier in the summer, I was like doing live streams that and donating all the money to like a mutual aid group or to like a bail, because this was like the height of the Freddie Gray Jesus.
There have been
George
a lot.
Floyd protests.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know how helpful that is. It's like, I mean, people like money makes things happen. So I like to think it's somewhat useful for me to be raising money or giving money. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this like network of like this group of 1 million people that's watching me. I don't know what to tell them to do. I don't know. It's too much responsibility in a sense. Like, it's scary.
Yeah, building political projects as a content creator feels so weird because YouTube, in spite of how real it is, feels very distinctly unreal.
It feels very unreal.
Yeah, it's very abstract. So turning that into imagining bodies. How many people are watching right now? 14,000 bodies in a stadium.
That's like most of 14,000. That's most of Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it's difficult to imagine.
Yeah,
but we can do it if we try.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? After the election is over, because I've been very busy with election stuff, I would be delighted if, I know I'm an optics nightmare, maybe just you or whatever, but if we larger lefty content creators could maybe brainstorm some ideas about broader outreach, I think that'd be awesome. Because even if we have personal disagreements or whatever, appropriately directed funds in the right place at the right time can influence hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
We just recently had AOC and Ilhan Homar playing Among Us with Hassan Critical and others. that's extraordinary. That's huge. Twitch is a huge audience, and they pulled from that, and that only happened because e-boy dipshits like Hassan, I say that with the greatest love and respect, I too am one, are on the ground among us, booted up in their 4K computer, ready to play, should you get a message from a congressperson. I think that's the energy we need moving forward.
I agree. So no, I think that stuff is powerful, and I think that is kind of the future. Like, I think that we're rapidly moving into an era when politicians are going to be campaigning on Twitch.
That's so scary to think about.
Terrifying, but it's 100. Like, is it more scary than the fact that cable news currently has half this country totally in its grip?
Or talk radio. Lefties don't.
Talk radio.
Lefties don't even know talk radio exists. There are like 80 million people in this country who will just get in their pickup truck at 8 a.m. and turn on the radio and listen to how, like, just yesterday, Antifa broke into like a house and murdered a dog or something, and like that's all the political input they get, you know?
That's their news, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it absolutely matters how we're using these, you know, because people think it's frivolous, people think it's not real, but it's very real. Like, this is media now, this is communication, and like taking it seriously is actually, I think, kind of convincing ourselves to take it seriously is actually something we need to work on doing.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, I get this a lot. I don't know if you get this a lot because you don't call yourself like a socialist or whatever. So I don't know if this is limited to my side of things, but
I don't call myself a socialist.
Oh, well, Pog then. Poggers. Yeah. In the words of Ilhan Omar, who said poggers on Twitter just a few days ago.
Oh my god. What a moment.
Oh, it was very very Vogue. I'm not sure what the terms are, but yeah, Vogue, Epic based. On fleek. Thank you. Uncucked. Yeah. Thank you. Nailed it. Fuck me, I got lost in the weeds there. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the issue I have. Where there are a lot of lefties who will talk, oh, the alt-right pipeline is sending so many people towards Nazism, so on and so forth. But then when they talk about, like, what can we do online, they'll make fun of me. Like, oh, what do you do? Oh, you just entertain people, you know? And it's like, well, what the fuck, man? Does online activism work or does it not? Are we doing this or are we not?
Why are we talking? Why have we all decided to acknowledge that PewDiePie is a serious political influence on the lives of children, but BreadTube is nothing?
I don't know. It's because if they denounce it, if to them it's just aesthetic, if it means nothing to them, then it's much easier for them to stay in their little bubble where they pretend that the only thing that will ever make any change is a revolution that'll spontaneously take place at some point in the vague future, and any other action is completely worthless with regards to that movement forward.
I understand the urge to say that this is all just jokes, it's just memes, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's what the right often says, right? And part of it for me is like, it's kind of terrifying to, I don't know. I'm someone who, I genuinely do not want power. Like, it's not a thing that motivates me. Like, I'm motivated by like curiosity and sensuality and like and wanting to the world to be better, but I would not say that I personally have any interest in having power. In fact, it scares me. But the fact of the matter is I do have some power, and sometimes I try to avoid thinking about it because that I don't want to deal with the implications of that. But I have to think about it, right? We all kind of do.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, it's not an issue for me. I fucking love influence. My entire life I've loved power? Yeah, I've loved listening, having as many people as possible listening to me. But I think it's, you know, it's a worthy pursuit in the sense that, as far as I'm concerned, the metric, if there's like a metric that I measure my influence by, you know, it is entirely by how good I think the world is for my birth. That is like the meter that fills up, you know, my happiness juice gauge. So if I was some massive YouTuber or something and all I did was play video games or whatever, I don't know if I could be happy with myself, like conceptually. Not because I don't love video games, I do, but if there was ever an opportunity for somebody to do good like that and they denied themselves that chance, I just don't know how I feel about that. I know you're trepidatious. You've done enormous good. So I think you're well beyond criticism in that specific sense, you know?
Well, I'm glad you think so. I mean, I'm also someone who, like, I'm like you, like in some ways what I want to be is an entertainer. Like, I don't know, I really love, like, well, as you put it, my looking fancy with pretentious music. And so I'd be happy to just do that. But I think I do feel on some level that, like, if I'm going to be speaking to people, like, I have to also, I have an obligation, I feel, just to like be talking about things that I think matter. And so I feel like, even if what I do is entertainment, it's like very like politically conscious entertainment, because I don't know, that's where my mind is. Like I tend to, I just, that's what I care about. So, even if what is more pleasurable to me is like the more raw entertainment like
Well,
stuff, yeah,
all of your videos have been politically relevant.
yeah,
Even
none of them, yeah,
the most you video was probably the shame one, and even that was very well
yeah,
wrapped up in progressive politics and such. And
yeah,
yeah, I can't imagine you would ever make content that even came close to apolitical. Much less
yeah.
conservative leaning, certainly.
Well,
Um,
even when I think about content, that I was like, what if I do a video that's not about politics? Like I deserve a break. Like it somehow ends up being about politics again.
I don't
Like
think I
cringe.
don't
Like
think that's
cringe is 100% about politics, even though it's about this thing that doesn't appear political.
I don't think there's any getting away from that, honestly.
Yeah.
Once you've been politics pilled, I don't think you can ever go
Yeah,
back to the misinformed belief that there was any element of our society that isn't steeped in.
political. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
We took the red pill.
We 100% did. I'm kind of burning out a little bit over here.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
we've been
think
talking for over 2 hours.
I think yeah, I think it's 2.5 hours is my I need a break moment.
Not a professional live streamer, I see.
No, I'm
No,
not.
I tease. I really appreciate you coming on. I should probably head soon anyway because I would love to get some food before the presidential debate.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I should do that too. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This felt very fulfilling to me.
Oh, well, likewise, and thank you. You're absolutely free to come on literally anytime. Before you go, though, one quick thing. Are you looking at my stream? Can you see my camera?
I can't.
Okay,
I'm looking at Discord. I can find it on
gotcha.
my phone.
Wait, hold on. I can turn on cam. I think my
Okay.
camera is set up in a way that I can actually put out 2 inputs. 1 second. Hyena,
Okay.
deploy the baby. We got a new cat. Hold on.
Oh yeah, Janie's the cat.
Okay, there we
I
go.
see you now.
Nice. Okay, it can deploy 2 outputs. All right, now we patiently wait for the deployed baby to arrive. I really do appreciate you coming on. You can come on anytime after videos. Things are going to slow down a little bit after the election with regards to my content. That's how it works. And I really want to commit to this project of a more responsible online left, insofar as it can be done in whatever way you'd like to discuss that. And here's a baby. Look at this disgusting.
Oh my goodness.
Look at this. Look at this.
Stinks.
Look at this
This
rat.
Egyptian
Look at this thing. Wah.
deity.
Yeah, look at it. Wah. It's so ugly, but we love
Oh
her.
wow,
Beautiful.
like a baby.
Yeah, she's so tiny.
Ah,
And she sleeps with us every night because our body
why?
heat is warm, so she just dives under the covers. Wah.
Her eyes are glistening.
Yeah. Yeah, she's got an eye problem, but we treat it just fine. All right, there you go. All right. Thank you very much for coming on. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I guess go emotionally prepare for the presidential debate.
Physically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually. Yeah, I'll go get ready.
Have a good one. I'll talk to you soon, hopefully.
Thanks, you too. Sounds good.
Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Should I have said one last bye? I think that was fine. I think that was an acceptable number of byes. Nice. Go team. Hope I can talk to I hope I can talk to Natalie more in the future for reasons that should be that should be pretty obvious to everyone here, you know? Yeah. Oh man. Woo. Before we head out, if everyone watching right now, if you enjoy the content, which I imagine you must at least to some extent, then please consider subscribing. I know a lot of you here are Contra fans. I'm a Contra fan. We have so much in common. Just so much in common. It's actually crazy. Anyway, I'd really appreciate it if you subbed. We're on a roll right now, and I would be just so goddamn happy if we could spend more time together in the future. Okay, I can see my chat's mad at me. What do I need to acknowledge? Am I going to do donos? Yes, I'm about to do donos, albeit quickly. Give updates on the Tim Pool debate. The Tim Pool debate is going to be on Tuesday, I think at 5 p.m. PST. I don't know what time he announces, but We're going to do that. It's going to be live on Tim Pool IRL. It's going to be a live stream debate. You will be able to watch it. You will be there in the YouTube chat, able to spam support for me, and you will be outnumbered massively by Tim Pool fans. So you're going to have to do it hard. You're going to have to do it good. What is this Nathan J. Robinson interview? I did an interview with Nathan J. Robinson. That is what the Nathan J. Robinson interview is. Does somebody say, where's the Nathan J. Robinson thing? Yes, I see that Peter Coffin and Angie Speaks had Crystal Ball on their podcast. I see. What about COVID? Listen, I'm built different, okay? Can I stream it to Vosh.gg? We can host it. Apologize to H-Bomb for thinking his name was Harris. I don't think H-Bomb is watching anymore, but my sincerest apologies for any and all mistakes I make at all point in time from now up until the end of time. Where is the Nathan J. Robinson clip? Why not have Contra on call while watching the debate? While I like Contra very much, the debate is very serious, and I will be treating it seriously with my coverage. And not like goofing off with a friend. Is Contra a friend? Well, I would like to be friends with Contra if we're not already friends with Contra. This it? Let me see. Yes, here we go. How incredibly pog. Yes, I had an interview with Nathan J. Robinson, which is, to those of you who just watched this conversation, it's going to ring a little bit familiar. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, they gave me a linky here. Hell yeah. Did you get starstruck with Contra? The first time I talked with Contra, sure, but this is not the first time I've talked with Contra. Here you go. Here's the link to the thingy, guys. There you go. Very nicely done. All right. We should roll through some donos, and then after that, we are going to... Your smile when she said she was watching your videos very cute and precious. Yeah, well. What are you going to do? Oh, man. If H-Bomb... I would love to have a positive conversation with H-Bomb. I don't think H-Bomb understands how much I like H-Bomb's videos. I come off sort of default antagonistic to other bread tubers because I'm kind of inherently defensive on account of all the shit that I've had to deal with. But I really do just have like so much respect for these people. Even though I think Sean has some shit takes on Twitter, like Sean's content, that video on the bell curve was like triple S tier. Like not just that one, there are other great videos too, but that one easily triple S tier, you know. And I'd like to think thorough enough of a person that I can think a person has bad takes on Twitter occasionally while still respecting the hell out of them. So I'd like it if I could talk to them someday, but yeah, we'll have to see. It's an optics thing too. Keep in mind that for them, if they associate with me publicly, that's going to lead to a lot of condemnation of them. So, you know. What do you think of the reaction videos to the bell curve? They were generally quite bad. Get on TikTok. I have 200,000 followers on TikTok. What do you mean get on TikTok? I'm on it. I'm here. I'm live. Yes, I am the optics nightmare. Yes, very, very good. Okay, let me take a real quick piss. Bathroom's right down here. So easy peasy, real quick lemon squeezy. And after that, I'm going to come back. I'm going to go over donations. Then after that, I'm going to try to get some food in before before the debate. One sec. You like the gray sweatpants plus white shirt aesthetic? I know you do. Go team. By the way, did I say white sweatpants, gray shirt, or did I say it properly? You heard me piss? Wait, are you kidding? You actually did? No way. You're kidding. No way. Don't you fuck with me. Wait. Sorry. There we go. Thought our IC was broken. People like you piss so fucking fast. Well, I have a very powerful and wide urethra, of course. All right. All right, people, let's go through some donos, huh? Inverted J, you know I'm going to. Mythaldu, Dark Samus, and Ithics, thank you all so much for the tier 1 sub. I really, really appreciate those, comrade. Yeah, Tanky's filling up the mentions. Sorry, comrade. Soothing Glow, likewise, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Really, really appreciate that. Ginger Cringer and Hollowed Ore, thank you both so much for the tier 2 sub. Happy to hear you're enjoying the content, Ginger Cringer. Really, really happy, actually. Free associated producer, Juwong47, Gregory Norris, and Casper Christiansen, thank you all so much for the incredibly kind $5. Yes, the Tim Pool argument that we had was quite funny. Just a preparation to come. Very, very true. Absolutely, comrade. I got voting fever. I've got Biden fever. There's only one cure, too. Colin Hanrahan with a very kind $15. Yes, we are debating Tim Pool. It's going to happen live and in person. Divine Jello with the incredibly kind $69. That is the sex number, folks. Confirmed. Are you going to cover Trump's hilarious 60 Minutes interview? Yeah, just not today. We're pretty busy today, but yeah, no, for sure. I want to. I hear it's quite funny. The issue is we'll have to just do it off of clips because I'm pretty sure 60 Minutes is very protective of their copyright. Can't just watch the whole thing. But yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Thank you so much, comrade, for the incredibly kind dono. Microraptor with a 59 kronar, thank you very, very much. Congratulations on starting HRT. Fuck yeah. We're both fans of Contra, but I am not on HRT. The Arms Dealer and Wolfmane, thank you both very much for the tier 1 sub. Sorry, Wolfmane, I'll be kinder to furries in the future. Jake Baker, thank you for the $2. I really appreciate that. Jacob Michael and Sync with NorCal, thank you both so much for the $10. To Contra and you, thanks for keeping me from going Doomer or alt-right. Love you both. We love you too, comrade. Ain't nothing to worry about, though. Contra knows. Contra knows that all of you are only alive because of her. Don't worry about it. And thank you, Jacob. Paige Hemerson, Squeaky P, Juwong47 again, and Lucas Guyman, all of you so much with the incredibly kind $5. Thank you. How do you counter the argument that voting for Biden in a heavily red state is a waste of time? Because the greater a margin we win by with the popular vote, the harder it will be for Trump's cronies to justify a coup. That is the fundamental argument right there. You know? And Vosh, Ace Week, October 25th to 31st. Chat knows, tell the viewers, please. Ace Week, like asexual? Hell yeah, comrade. They gotta get it in too, but not in that way, but sometimes in that way. Asexuality is complicated. Squeaky P and Eve Bradford, thank you both very much for the $2. Much appreciated, comrade. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Halo 8, thanks to tier 1 sub. Likewise with Nuo, very much appreciated. Rory Blue with the incredibly kind tier 2 sub. I might talk about Zionism again in the future, but definitely not for a while. We have other stuff that's more immediately pressing. Jammy and BDTTRAS with the tier 1 subs. Thank you very much. This is my fucking nightmare. What is this? Oh no. This my shit. Holla Bachelor? It's that it? It's just the joke is Holla Batgirl, but it's Holla Bachelor? Duly noted, comrade. It is cursed. It's Eternum Droid at the 50 pesos. Glad you enjoyed the discussion, comrade. You have a wonderful Thursday as well. Kai Cavender, Fall Rain, and Bog Unicorn. Thank you all so much for the incredibly kind $5. Tell Natalie happy late birthday, and I only know that because we're birthday twins. I'll be sure to tell Natalie over DMs. I'll pass the information along. Check Texas polls. Just give me the link to whatever poll. Oh shit! Added today a morning consult poll that has Biden 1 point ahead of Trump. If we won Texas, dude, oh god, if they're within 1 point of each other. If we won Texas, do you have any idea how poggers that would be? Holy shit, they're 0.6 away. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the impact of tonight's debate is going to be. Oh yeah, if the Dems win Texas, we win the election flat out. If we win there is absolutely the scenario in which we win Texas but lose the election is like, this is some like biblically unlikely stuff, okay? Well, Florida might actually go blue. We could lose after winning Florida, but if we win Texas, there's no chance for them, I mean. Patrick Poirier and Casper Christiansen, thank you both very much for the $2, comrade. Really appreciate that. Jiwong and Someone, thank you both very much for the $5. Thank you. Yeah, we'll consider the makeup YouTuber advice. Saint D, thank you so much for the $50, my dude. That is very, very kind of you. Jesus, I really appreciate that. My goodness. Casper Christensen, thank you for the $2. Sorry I wasn't able to ask if Natalie likes Helltaker. Vosh Krins, Steve Verdugo, and Peaches, thank you all so much for the $5. I really, really appreciate it. When you talk about social issues being distractions, it comes off as very class reductionist. You should clarify the phrasing more. Yes, I'm sorry. I did speak a little bit carelessly there. What I actually meant to say was that the bourgeois will emphasize the importance of social issues as a distraction to prevent mostly white men from recognizing their class interests. That is the big thing there. So, white man, why is your life shit? Well, it's because of the immigrants. Well, it's because of transgenderism. Well, it's because of feminism. No. It's because of economic conditions, for the most part. Of course, there's variance, but that's a big one. And happy birthday, Peaches. I hope your rights aren't taken away as well. Thorstein Meme Son, I'll ask Contra if she's going to marry the golden one soon. Radical Reviewer, my man, thanks so much for the 666. I love you too, dude. Praxis, thank you for the $3. Howdy, I know who you are. Horsme, thank you for the $2. Duly noted, comrade, in case I ever hop on out. GG Pogger, Declan Galvin, and Halo Ninja, thank you all so much for the $5. Your opinion on Moomins? I do not know what that is. Is that like a type of clothing? I don't know what that is. Sake Tanuki with the very kind $10. Can't stay for the stream, but gonna throw you some support. Strangely enough, I still haven't seen any of Contra's material. Maybe one day. You haven't seen any of Contra's material? That is insane to me. I feel like Contra's content is so ubiquitously valuable. Whatever. I mean, you know, we all have our preferences. Srivatsan Raghavan with the 400 currency. Do not give the fascists a second term to prove a point to the libs. We in India did, and now we are not sure if we'll have another fair election to get rid of the fascists in power now. Yeah, comrade, that really fucking sucks. I am sorry, and hope that that isn't the case forever. Alex S., this person, and the Goodyear Sim, thank you all so much for the $5. I really, really appreciate that. I'm volunteering on the staff for a Dem here in Indiana whose campaign is entirely appealing to Republicans. If I can do that as a socialist, leftists can vote. Goddamn right, comrade. We all gotta suck it up, okay? Goddamn right. Probably not this person. It's a lot of anti-left lefties out there, you know? Eva fan, Billy Drill, killing Deism Accountant 9 with the incredibly kind $5. Thank you. I've bought my pistol and revolver for the family and discussed this with my CBS watching mom, but she's still unconvinced. Please do a whole bit I can show her. I've done bits already about how they want you dead. I don't know what else I could say that doesn't meaningfully. What are you linking? I've seen the Sargon thing, yeah, where he said, I think that he said he wanted to fuck me as part of like a fuck, marry, kill thing. Hey, wait a second. 3 Arrows, are you still watching? If you are, DM me on Twitter. Okay, we'll see. Take some time for that to roll back. Paul B with a very kind 25 bucks. Thank you, comrade. I really, really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. And Byron with a very kind $20. It was during your video when I tossed 12 rules for life in the bin. Stay strong, stay angry. Goddamn right, comrade. And well done. You deserve the credit for your radicalization or de-radicalization, not me. Okay? Good on you. Seriously. Senor Gato, Rory Blue, and Corvus Clanculum. Thank you all so much for the $5. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for the compliments. I enjoyed this a lot. I'm going to rewatch this conversation so many times. I love you both. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. I just wish leftism didn't make me depressed just to be correct. Yeah. You and Contra should do a weekly stream or podcast together or something. I get so much hope from listening to smart, pragmatic leftists talk about shit. I need to be perfectly clear here. I hate the idea of doing a podcast. I would do a podcast with Contra easily. I don't like the once a week. I don't like schedules or really anything. I don't like working. I'm kind of a lazy piece of shit. I would do it with Contra, yeah. Even if it was like a bi-weekly, like once every other week thing, I absolutely would. One thing that would be really nice is like a Fixing the Left podcast, you know? That's what I would like to see, you know? What can we do to sort of pull the left together in a good direction? And that for me would be great. And we would have lots of people on, like big figures, and it would be very, very, you know, we'd be kind. This is all just an idea. Obviously, nobody has said yes, but I think it'd be cool, like, as a concept, because there are people I can't reach because of my bad optics, but if I can engage amicably with other people, we can work towards this. This is a goal of mine, you know? This matters a lot to me. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I need to eat. Call it the Pogcast. Ferriri with a very kind 20 bucks. I want to shout out Cupcake Dex on Twitch. She and her trans partner are awesome progressive baking streamers. Pokemon, a welcome community, and wholesomeness. Hell yeah, comrade. Cupcake Dex. Dex, D-A-X, like dexterity. Spelled pretty much how you'd expect. Go check them out, I guess. I mean, they sound pretty cool. I don't know. Daniel Lopez, the very kind 20 bucks. Pog stream is Pog. Goddamn right. Thank you so much, comrade. And Salt and Sea with a very kind 20 bucks. The stream was weirdly a nice break from my anxiety about the election. You both rock. Looking forward to your debate coverage tonight. Yeah, I am too, comrade. I imagine it's going to be fucking hysterical. So we'll see. I do quite like talking with Natalie for obvious reasons. You know, I respect her quite a bit. The main issue for me is that I feel like I feel like with regards to improving the left, my optics situation makes it difficult in a sense, because a lot of people just reflexively hate me. But if we can roll BreadTube in there, that's a way to help. And what if we can get other people in there? You know, what if we can get like Greenwald in there? What if we could get like other like people who seem to have a large lefty place? You know, it'd be or Hassan, absolutely. Chomsky, Benjamin Dixon would be good. Sam Cedar. I don't know if we'll let Pac-Man in, Dirty Lib, but we'll see. Yeah, Lenin, Vladimir Lenin. It's an idea, but the goal would be. There are problems within the left. How do we make ourselves as effective as possible? That would be my goal. Because the pragmatism stuff, man, it's rough, you know? Yeesh. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the Nathan J. Robinson tweet about our thing, and the VDSers are in there. Nathan, didn't he literally just say the N-word for no reason? And then somebody says, Vosh explained the context of that situation on his channel if you're interested. And the guy replied, ah, yes, good old contextual racism. So this person said he said it for no reason, but then context doesn't matter. So if it's for no reason, why does the no reason matter? Isn't it always no reason? If you say you did bad thing for no reason, and then somebody else says there was a reason, you can't then say, well, reasons don't matter. Then why say no reason to begin with? Fucking weirdos. Oh, here we go. Today, Vosh implied revolutionary leftists are all disgruntled Starbucks employees with erectile dysfunction. That was today. Ah! Yes. I did imply that. Yeah, that happened minutes ago. Damn, there are a lot of Malders in here. Wait, hold on. I should preemptively block these people. Hold on. There we go. Blocking is self-care, people. Blocking is self-care. That's what a lot of people won't tell you. They think, oh, to be a big dick boy, you got to engage with every dumb fuck on Twitter. No, you don't. No, you don't. I don't engage with people in my replies who woke scold me. That's not engagement. Okay, wait, we're off track. Okay, hold on. Nick Arculera, thank you very much for the incredibly kind $10. I really appreciate that. I saw someone's post that they weren't voting for Trump. They were voting for secure borders, preservation of electoral college, etc. So they want to vote for fascism itself, and Trump is just a vessel. Nice. Love to see that. Okay, thank you for the links, guys. We'll get to it later. Don't worry. Jew Wong with the $5. Which lefty content creator do you hate more? Where the options are Contrapoints, Vosh, or Destiny. Wait, are you asking me? I hate myself the most. Thank you. Stinky Kudere with the $2. Thank you. What does read theory mean? Read theory generally means like reading the political theory of old leftist theorists, you know? Read theory like read the discursive writings of people like Lenin, Mao, Chomsky, Kropotkin, Marx, Engels, these people, you know? Basically, if it's an old guy and they wrote it, it's good. John Garrison, TJ Gamer, Ragster Radical, and Stinky Puff, thank you all so much for the incredibly kind $5. Yes, left streamers should do fundraisers for strike funds. Dude, we need to just harness a portion of Hassan's money. I'm pretty sure Hassan has a 7-figure income. I did some math in his subs. Even if you just look at his subs, I'm pretty sure he makes like over $1 million a year if you project it. So we gotta harness that. That's a big meaty chunk that we gotta redirect, you know? Jason R with a very kind $10. Thank you. I'd rather try to survive trying to drag Biden left for 4 years than to try to drag Cadet Bone Spurs to humanity with a bag over my head and an unmarked van clutching my Green Party pin. True! Choose your enemy. Posh Champ, Miranda writes left, and Miranda writes left again. Thank you so much for the $5. True, if Trump is reelected, it's not because he won, it's because we lost. Very, 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 very true. And Posh Champ, there's nothing wrong with you smoking weed every single day as long as you're voting for Biden, baby. Death to Amar and Helix Nebula, thank you both very much for the incredibly kind $5. Good on you, Helix. Good luck with your future content. I'm voting for Trump and moving to another country to watch the American empire destroy itself from the inside from a safe distance. Hey, buddy, just to let you know, if fascism takes hold of America, it will not be good for foreign policy, okay? Just to give you a fair warning, okay? I promise you, all right? The foreign policy outcomes of that situation are not going to be favorable to the rest of the world. Tyler Cross, thanks the $2. Kirby with the tier 2 sub, thank you. I appreciate the donation, comrade. And Mr. Matt or G with the tier 1 sub, I love you, buddy. Rapti with the incredibly kind tier 1 $10, sorry. Oregon voting to end war on drugs. Google measure 110. This is huge, means war on drugs could be over in the US within 10 years. Real change comes from the bottom. Yep. You get rid of the war on drugs. That means millions fewer people are arrested in this country, which means less voter disenfranchisement, which means disproportionately poor and people of color are more likely to be able to vote, which means the Republican Party is less and less able to influence the country with their shit fucking policies. Let me tell you, baby, okay? It all starts from the bottom, all right? Thano with a very kind tier 1 sub. Yes, I agree. White Nervosa is legitimately one of the most kind people that I have ever known, and I am very lucky to have her working with me. Alexander Brigman with the 50 Kronar. Thank you very much. Yeah, we should promote leftist art. It's just a matter of time, I guess. Lady Lothario, thank you so much for the incredibly kind 20 bucks. Flute One with the $10. How much do you think social media is skewing your image of the left, giving all opinions we consume are curated by algorithms? Oh, of course it's biased, 100%. But we have to recognize the online left, the internet is the place where most leftists are created in America. We don't have on-the-ground union movements that are radicalizing people towards socialism. Most of that's happening online. And the online left can be tracked fairly reliably by the content creators and influencers who lead people in various directions. And let me tell you, judging from what I've seen, not impressed. Not impressed. Nick Buyama, Ben Riley, and Jimmy Bilbo, thank you all so much for the $5. When am I going to talk to Kyle on the future of the left? Well, I'd like to make sure that's a productive conversation first. What are my thoughts on Bad Empanada? I think Bad Empanada is all over the place, okay? All over the goddamn place. And thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. What's a bread tuber? That's just a broad term for like a left or suck demi YouTuber who is part of a certain clique. It doesn't really mean that much. Moderately Goth and You Boy Ratman, thank you both very much for the $5. Yesterday I showed my BF a meme featuring you. He said you looked like Seth Rogen. Yep, that's pretty much what I got all throughout high school, all my bullying. Thank you. Not really. I only started to look like him after I grew the beard in college, but yeah, it's a thing. I'll be sure to, you boy Ratman. No Name, thank you very much for the tier 1 sub. I really love the theory stream the other day. Oh yeah, well, I want to do more theory streams. We're just so goddamn busy. Andre Brown with a very kind $10. Thank you. Divided myself from the white side of my family over their fascist and racist entitlement or enablement. Even though I eviscerated my grandmother, much respect to you, arguing with them is not easy. No, arguing with family is incredibly difficult. But you had it hard. You were arguing with family. I argue with people on the internet I don't give a fuck about, you know. I don't care what a fascist thinks of me. But it's hard when you're arguing with family. Like, that really, really bites, you know? No, that bites. Sorry about the Simpsons aphorism there. Wop Leftist, the very kind tier 2 sub. Anytime, comrade. I think we should all be more compassionate to individuals and much harder on systems. That's what Michael Brooks believed. Fernando Mata with a very kind $5. 2 questions. Did you cover the whole Hunter Biden laptop nonsense? No. And 2, why not push to unionize every workplace? We should. Joe Clang with tier 1 sub. Thank you very, very much, comrade. I think we're getting near the end, and then I can go get some food. We will see. Ugly Oni, thank you very much for the $10. Really appreciate that. Yeah, if you want to get into lefty comic making, there are a lot of people on Twitter who you could talk to give maybe some pointers on it, whatever. Endurance, Tal Stengel, and Dirt410, thank you all so much for the incredibly kind $5. I'll shout out asexuality anytime, comrade. Not fucking or not being as sexual or whatever is totally valid. I think you all are missing out, but that's my preference, you know. That'd be like me saying I think you guys are missing out on eating solid blocks of blue cheese, but that's my taste buds, not yours. You all are missing out on that, by the way. Angry Demetrodon with a very kind tier 1 sub. What is the best gun to buy as a lefty? That's the whole thing. We'll do that in the future. That whole thing. I'd like to do research. Destry Love with the incredibly kind $69.69. Thank you all so much. Wait, not all. Thank you specifically so fucking much, comrade. That's 2 sex numbers. Don't you go thinking radicalization is only a right-wing thing. I'm living proof. Cheers. Yeah, of course, we radicalize people too. I just like to think we do it a little more ethically than the right does. Thank you very, very much, comrade. I really appreciate that. Seriously. That's 2 sex numbers, man. Oh, you changed your name. 852 Derek with a very kind $20. Call you and Contra's podcast Good Faith. That'd be a funny dig, wouldn't it? Ha! DJ Bid and Vontix, thank you both very much for the $5. I really appreciate that. Big Five Sporting Goods enforces mask wearing. Mossberg Maverick 88 shotgun, pretty easy to get there in Cali at least. 10-day waiting period. Get 00 buckshot ammo. Yeah, those are things you can get. I've never owned a shotgun actually. My guns are all handguns and rifles. But yeah, that is the thing. Good for her. I'd say good for home defense, but that's not really true. Guns don't really help you with home defense. It's more of a self-defense thing in general. Casper Christensen and Delightful, thank you both very much for the 2 and 250, respectfully. Deli Bird with the $5. Am I brave enough to debate creationist cat? Face him in the litter box of ideas? I think I am, but he's a tough contender. You know, having debated my own cats, I can say they're quite rough and tumble. And Interna with a very kind $5, wondering if you had any advice for making a research doc. I did a video a while back called "The Subject Nazis Shouldn't Debate Us On," and its thumbnail is my face and Destiny's photoshopped onto Ornstein and Smaug from Dark Souls 1. Look at that video, because Rose Wrist is the architect of a large portion of my research document, and they talk about strategy in there. So check it out. Nainer with a very kind $20. This was such a great discussion. Thanks. I'm inclined to agree, comrade. Anthony Ferrari with the 14 Canadian. Thank you very, very much. Astra Triple M with the $10. What are your thoughts on Biden considering GOP candidates for his cabinet? Well, this always happens. Democrats always consider Republicans for the cabinet. The question is whether or not they'll actually do it. But the consideration thing is an optics move. Will he actually do it? Probably. And obviously I disapprove of that, but at the moment, what's happening is par for the course. Absolutely, Pegasus. PR is important. On Sugar Hill, you know him as Matt, and Comrade Chernov. Thank you all so much for the incredibly kind $5. I really, really appreciate that. Did you see Gravel Institute commented on your video in our BreadTube? I replied asking them to get you on for one of their videos, so I asked your chat to upvote it. Oh, no worries, comrade. I'm going to get on one of those Gravel Institute videos. Nothing to worry about. I should probably clean up my ears first, though. You know, make myself a little more TV presentable. Diego, thank you very much for the $5. Are there any academic readings on critical race theory, the presence of the alt-right online that you know of / recommend? Thanks, love your work. I'm afraid not. Nothing comes to mind immediately, Diego. The term critical race theory wasn't used as actively as it is right now, just a couple of years ago, so I don't even know what would fit within that purview broadly. But you'd have to look around for that. Maybe my audience would have some ideas. Daniel and Shama, thank you both very much for the $5. Enjoy your Biden phone banking, Shama. You're doing good goddamn work. Clueless IRL with the $10. My wife was able to get her right-wing mother in the heart of Florida to vote for Biden using your logic. Thanks for being a consistent, good voice, my dude. My fucking pleasure, man. That is absolutely awesome. Getting the boomers to vote blue, that is a fucking, in Florida no less, that is a good-ass fucking meme. Aaron Kai with a very kind $10. Would you consider publicly committing to donate / invest every dollar you make above a certain amount towards improving the world according to your moral system? Everything over $75K after tax, say? No. If I do things, I want to do them sporadically and of my own volition, but I value my freedom more than almost anything else. If you guys want to criticize me for not doing enough with the money that I earn, that's totally, totally fine. I'm open about my income, but I don't want to, like, commit to a given ratio or amount or anything like that. Especially since making the world a better place is kind of a nebulous thing. Like, as far as I'm concerned, investing in me is making the world a better place, you know? As far as I'm concerned. Because as long as I'm alive and happy, I make more content. So, it's reciprocal in that respect. But yeah, I'll try my best to make you all proud. Now, there are a couple of links that I'm going to go through really, really quick, and then after that, I'm going to end this stream. And remember, if you are watching right now, in just about 3 hours, we will be starting the stream for the presidential debate, the final presidential debate. So this is not the end of our coverage today, no sir. But let me cover these links real quick. Genghis Prager with a very kind $5, my babies, and it's a Rickroll. Thank you, I love you. Wait, is there more cat? Is there a cat under the Rickroll? There is. Okay, there we go. Baby, little spooky Halloween black cat baby. Ooh, double cat baby magic. Ooh, baby. 2 babies. Free associated producer with the 523. What is this?
For the quarantine report, I'm Amy Goodman.
I can take a look at this later, but you just kind of linked me that with no context, so not right now. Love you. Leia Cooler with a very kind $5. Quick drawing from last night's stream. Give us more amnesia immediately. Oh no. Just to be clear, this is a pregnancy, okay? This isn't me being fat, all right? That's a pregnancy belly, by the way. The muscles are implied. See? There, you just so you guys know, I'm pregnant here, okay? Peepo fat. Amnesia was a lot of fun. James Jones, the $5. Some hopium to start the Vooter stream. What is this? The early voter blog. Dems have a 60,000 ballot lead. A 14% lead. Where? What state is this? Where does it say the state? Nevada? Where does it say? The first place it says Nevada is here. Okay, well. Hell yeah. Pog. Vic with a very kind $3. How do some people think this man is
that
smart?
all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
Absolutely brilliant. Don't know what motivated H-Bomb to tear down a wall for that bit, but it paid off. Give me Delinky. You can see the fucking video title right here, you dipshit. Skittle Kit with a very kind 666. Thank you. Biological. True. Very true. Don't step to me. I have this shit in my blood. Bullet 25. Lol, you gotta look at this. Yeah. Yeah, Trump's Twitter password was literally MAGA 2020. Unbelievable. The fucking president of the United States. Skittle Kit with the additional 666. Chomsky. True. And this was Chomsky like 40 years ago, too. Dude's like 1,000,000 years old. Jesus Christ. Rock with a very kind tier 1 sub. Thank you, comrade. I always will remember. Also add my hopium emote. There's actually another person has recommended an animated hopium emote that has a slightly different look to it that I might go with. But yeah, we should have a hopium emote. We'll see. We'll see. If we win the election, maybe I'll add it. Sneaky Wikiki with the $5. If pro-lifers cared about babies, they'd be for the Green New Deal. Jesus. Oh, here's your problem. Pro-lifers don't think Indians and sub-Saharan Africans are human beings. There's your problem. There's your issue. Now we've discovered the contradiction here. Anarcho Wiener, thanks to the $7. Incel Turf versus Chad Vosh.
I'm still holding to what I'm saying about the objective. There are objective definitions to word.
There aren't. What's an objective definition? Do we find it out in nature? Like we found it buried in a stone tablet out in the like in Jerusalem, and this is what this word means? Like where do we find an objective definition?
Female. So a female. Are you? Hey, what that China?
You realize that modern scientific literature on sex doesn't actually like support the existence of a binary on sex, right? Sex is not binary, it's bimodal. And what you're saying right now, the difference between male and female, this like concrete objective difference, this is not supported by the scientific literature.
Gender binary is a straw man because it's bimodal. Biology, we talk about.
I just said that.
Terminology is bimodal. Okay, yeah. So we're in agreement with this. Bimodal. There are two modes: male mode and female mode.
No.
Okay.
No.
Hold on.
How about we stick to the gender stuff rather than you describe to me the ways in which you're ignorant on modern science?
Oh, I forgot about that. He was like, "Yeah, it's bimodal. The two modes, male and female mode." This is amazing. Hold on, I'm faving that. That's really good. That's a big W right there. A disfigured peacock with the $2. This shit is LARPy as fuck. Can't believe I used to follow this page. What is this? Rapid, red and black intersectional defense. Like the raccoon, we should use our skills to steal what little we can from those who rob us on a daily basis. The raccoon wears its thieves' mask with pride. Is this just talking about shoplifting? Like the possum, we will use our teeth flashed bare to strike fear into the hearts of our enemies. Is this real? Yeah, militant furries. And honestly, thank you very much for the $5. Yeah, Bo of the fifth column is pretty goddamn pog. Tactical Girlfriend's also cool, yeah. L. Lolliot with the $5. Thank you very, very much. Absolutely, comrade. We're all reluctantly riding with Biden. Kipperkin with the tier 1 sub. Thank you very, very much. I want to get into streaming. Could use a final little push to put myself out there. Do you think it's worth it? That's up to you. Live streaming has a lot of pluses and minuses. Pretty soon I want to do a segment on how to get into it. Like how to get into making online content because I get asked so often. So I'll do that soon and you can decide for yourself. Fully automated luxury LGBT plus, so on and so forth. Space communism. I sent the Democracy Now! Vid. It deleted the message. 405 timestamp was the intention. Stuff about Trump and China. Oh, okay. Then I'll look over it before the next stream. And Oni Meow with a very kind $13.50. What a wonderful donation amount. Bosch, I found you through some more news than Innuendo Studios than Xanderhall. Is this the alt-left pipeline? Yes, it is. As a matter of fact, you are tumbling down it. There's no stopping now, comrade. You're in it. You'd best start believing in pipelines. You're in one. See? Because, all right. Okay, anyway. I love you all very much. I'm going to go. I'm going to eat food. I got errands to run, and then soon we will be covering the presidential election. Okay? Oh, wait. The debate. The presidential election debate. Okay, yeah. The presidential debate. All right. I love you guys very much. T-minus 3 hours. Peace out. Chill. Relax and max and all cool. And I'll see you guys soon.